A journey that no one expected. Starting from a reunion of old friends, resulting in the fall of a nation. History runs in circles, but to break the cycle, it's simply unheard of. The journey to Astera.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys have been okay. It's been a while. We took last week off from the HoloLock stream, but it's been a few weeks since we did Journey to Astera. But now the finale's about to begin. But I'll go ahead and quit the small talk and introduce myself. I am HoloLock, and I am playing Ventus Full Rose, and I'll let everybody introduce themselves, starting with Aaron.
My name's Aaron Stanley, and I play the illustrious Zane Corvus.
Awesome. Zach.
He's muted.
All right, so Drew.
Hi, I'm Drew, also in K Frodo, and I play Turok Stoneskin.
Awesome, dude. So hyped, man. Tonight's gonna be so sick. All right, and that is Zach. Can you hear me, Zach?
No.
Nope.
Nah, he can't hear that. Him's muted.
Zach, can you hear me? No? Okay. He plays, you can? All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I was about to introduce you. Go ahead.
Well, no, he was
I think
pointing at his headset.
He said 1 second.
Oh, okay. That is Zach. He's playing Lons
Great
Lebec.
start.
Also, Go Hex.
Go Hexus Gaming.
And this lovely blue face that you get to see every time we come on is NK Mando. I am also known as Ming the Merciless, your lovely dungeon master.
Lovely, he says. Lovely.
I'm lovely, damn it.
Man, I'm so excited to see all of y'all in chat tonight. I'm excited. It's going to be a great night.
It's been pretty fun so far.
You're muted.
You are muted.
Muted. We can't hear you.
Your voice is not coming through.
He can't see me pointing at my headset.
All right.
Because I'm a floating head, I have no hands.
Three.
Oh, there he is.
Hey!
I'm just trying to find something to fill in the background. All I have is our five faces
Oh,
show right now, and I don't know what else to do.
Uh,
I'm just
yeah,
trying to find
so
random D&D like
just to
image of
kind
some sort.
of fill all the viewers in on what happened, the program that we had started using decided that it needed an update, which is fantastic. You always want your programs up to date and be able to use them flawlessly. Only problem is, this one didn't go so flawless with the update. It decided to close the circuits on being able to get people in to the program via another computer through an HTML. So unfortunately, the guys are not going to be able to move their own tokens around.
And stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff. But everybody is going to get the true depth of the D&D experience right now, and get to use their minds. Their wonderful, beautiful, special ed minds.
shut up, dude. All right.
I told you that in confidence.
All right, man.
It was never a secret.
All right, let's get this ball rolling. Where did we leave off, Mr. Ming?
Now, in the last episode, everybody that was following, just as a quick catch up, and for those of you who haven't been watching, the crew got notified that so Astera has essentially been found. The crew is going to be meeting up with the Iron Wall to get some information from them to find out if it's truly Astera or not. Ventus has been. How long has it been since you've seen your father for this one, Ventus? Been roughly a year.
Probably no. It's been. I think we were gone for a year and a half between season 1 and season 2, so it's been about almost 3 years since I've seen him. Or we didn't? I don't think we bumped into him at the beginning of season.
No.
You train with him or anything?
No. We left right after we talked to him, and that's the last time I've seen him. So it's been almost 3 years.
And almost 3 years. So this is going to be the first time that anybody's even seen the wall. And well, aside from Zane, because I believe Zane met with him a couple of times.
Hopefully we're not poking plot holes right now. I think we're good, though.
No.
I just want to make sure. I don't remember, but I think we haven't seen him.
I know Ventus went on his little adventure training, did his own thing.
Soul searching.
With our friend, what's his name? The gravity guy? What's his name? Oh, Polar Knight.
Polar Knight?
Yeah.
Polar Knight, yeah, you went with Polar Knight. And then Turok went and did his training with the monks.
Check.
Zane spent a bunch of time in his shop working on all of his stuff. And then Lons went and spent some time with his family.
Also became a very popular musician.
Yes, very, very popular musician. He's one of the most well-known bards in the world now. Now, with that being said, you guys have been transported, and you're back on the main island that you initially had come into, and a small tavern has been erected in this area that will be your meeting ground with the Iron Wall. When you guys walk in, you see a handful of guards. Not a lot of people inside the tavern. It looks like there's a couple of handfuls of groups that are inside. Just 2 or 3 people serving the tables, 1 bartender. And when you initially walk in, one of the guards gives you a greeting and approaches you, Ventus, and says your father's waiting for you at the table. And he points over to his right and points at a table where it's just your father sitting there.
So I'm gonna look at everybody and then look at him and then start making my way over to him, and I'm gonna sit right across from him and put my hands on the table, or my elbows on the table, and put my hands together and just look him in the eyes.
Okay.
Hey.
It's good to see you again, son. It's been quite some time.
You too. You look exactly the same.
Maybe a little extra dust on the bones.
It's been a long time, Dad. I didn't know when I was gonna see you again, but I wasn't worried. I knew you'd be okay.
For the most part, I have been cleaning up here and there with random units that survived the last situation that we dealt with, and cleaning up some remnants here and there. How was your journey? You took some time to go and adventure for a while.
Well, it's been very eventful, to say the least. It's been incredibly stressful, but it's going well as it could, I would assume. I mean, it's just tough, man. I don't know. Have you heard from Mom?
The last I heard from her, she was still doing all of her delegation duties and dealing with all of the head honchos from the different city-states.
So she's okay.
Yeah, she's doing quite well.
Okay. I've been worried about her also. You know, it's kind of tough, man. it's tough growing up.
Unfortunately, you had to grow up rather fast because of it.
Yeah.
But it has made a man out of you, and that's what matters to me. And you, from what I can see of you and your companions, which you still have, Lons, it's good to see you again.
They're my
Tura.
best friends.
Master Corvus, always a pleasure to have you in the presence of again.
Oh, we're actually over there. I thought it was just him and.
I know, it was all of you.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought I was like, okay, I'm gonna let them have their little private moment.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
I
No,
was.
no,
If I'd known that I was walking straight over there, I'd have been like, damn it, Asher.
Yeah, they're fine. It's a good thing I was here with them.
I don't believe that for a second, but
Just kind of look down and kick my feet together for a minute. Glance over at Zane.
And I'm like,
uh,
what?
It's a good thing I was here.
Asher looks over to you, Lons, and he says, Lons, I hear you got to spend some time with your family.
I did.
Pretty well caught up with them now?
Yeah, you can say that. It's like long lost family, but they weren't really lost. They were just hiding.
It's fair to say. I'm glad you were actually able to be reunited with them. And Turok, I hear you took quite the interesting path in your time off.
Yeah, I was not expecting it, but I'm glad it happened.
Understandably so. Has it... I doubt I'm going to get the answer I want. Has it matured you any? Or at least
I cannot
humbled you in the
confirm
slightest?
nor deny. It worked out a little bit of my anger issues.
He's taller.
Well, at least there's that. Yeah,
Does that count?
the appearance is quite unique.
Yeah,
And as for you,
got a
Zane,
few burnt skills at the moment.
oh, I'm sure that'll take care of itself. And for you, Zane, your project's coming along?
And I just kind of look at him like, well, it just depends on what all you know as to how far I've actually come from there.
I don't know much, that's why I'm asking.
And then I'm like, you can say that it's coming. I need a little bit more. And I'm just, as I'm like, I've got a little notebook that's in my hands, and I'm just kind of scribbling, like in the notebook, like it's just a little handheld thing. You can just kind of see him driving through it.
Asher kind of tilts his head and puts his hand on his forehead. Like, forever the scholar and never stops working. Some things never change.
Well, whenever.
Oh, is that what you're gonna put on his tombstone?
I think so.
So, Father, there are a few things that I do want to talk to you about.
Understandably so, but we'll have to continue any additional talk for a later time, son.
Okay. Just know
Currently,
that it's incredibly important. Just wanted to let you know.
then we will speak at the earliest possible convenience. I
Okay.
give you my word on that.
All right. I respect your decision.
So, Asher, what brings you all the way out here?
Well, I know you've been looking for some artifacts for some crown or whatever it may be. We've been sending scouts out to see if they can find anything well. And one of our search parties has found kind of this anomaly. Like something something is sending off a signal that's just, in lack of a better choice of words, of our world. I think it might be tied to what you've been looking for.
Where is the signal originating from?
Do you remember the bell tower that just struts out of the ocean?
I've seen some documentation on the monument.
Usually only ever brought up in myth and legend. Stories, children's stories that we heard growing up, right?
Yeah, like we never really understood why it was there. Or that it would often be like said, but that
Right. Sailors would
and
mention
stuff.
that they've seen it.
And nobody could ever really find it once they went back to go look for it again.
It appears it's no myth, and it's definitely no story, that it's been found. That's where I'm taking you today.
Okay.
There's a ship off the shore waiting for us. Take us about a day to get there.
All right.
Can't take any, unfortunately, none of your flying machines.
You're kidding.
Anything that tries to fly in that direction, anything airborne, let me specify that, anything airborne, birds can't even get in close to this thing. Boats have been able to pass by. So, gentlemen, if you would accompany me, the ship is waiting us.
Okay, well, I'll need to get if we're going to where I think you're about to start trying to take us, I need to make sure that I have the other pieces of the artifact with me. So I'm gonna have to radio the Kaizaku and make sure that we have that down here with us.
Do what you need to do. Would 30 minutes suffice?
I mean, it'll give me enough time to give them the call and make sure that I can get to the boat, or make sure that I can get them headed that way. So.
All right.
So I actually step away from the table to go and get my radio communications up and send that out.
All right. Well, as you guys get up and get moving, Asher steps up from the table, waves over at the bartender, and informs him that the tab will be paid in full, plus a little extra. Points to one of his men and waves to your party to follow him. When you guys exit the tavern, you can see lined up, you'll recognize some of the tribes from this island from when you were first here. The Torn tribes are all kneeled down with the shield in one hand and various weapons in the other as their own personal weapons. All down on one knee, holding their shields up with their weapon across the front of the shield. Heads bowed down, as if it's a send-off ceremony for those that may not come back. Turok, you would recognize this because you've done this ceremony in the past. You remember it from your childhood, when your tribe was sending its warriors off to fight.
Okay.
Asher walks through, and as he's walking by, you see him put his hand on the heads of each of them as he passes by them. And Ventus, this kind of confuses you a little bit, as well as you, Lons. You're not really sure why he's touching their heads as he walks by them. Turok, you know that
Right.
this is his way of saying, I'll see you if I return. Do me a favor, Turok. Roll a perception real quick to see if you notice the confusion on Lon's and Ventus's face.
$21.
Okay, yeah, you definitely notice the confusion on their faces.
So what side are they on?
They're on both.
from
They're
me.
on both sides of the aisle. Oh, Ventus and Lons.
Yeah,
They're right there with you. They would
like to my
basically.
right, to my left.
They're kind of the two of them are more or less in front of you. Like they're a little
Okay.
bit spaced apart, but they're not shoulder to shoulder, but they're reaching distance for you.
Okay. I'm gonna whisper to them that Asher is basically telling them that, you know, God, cannot think of the words right now.
See you when I see you.
I'll see you if I
Yeah,
survive.
pretty much. Yeah, he'll see them if he survives, which means there's a chance that he may not make it back, but, you know, there's always that chance.
And with that knowledge, Turok, after you whisper that to them, you'll actually be the first one to step up to start walking that line. Do you follow in suit?
Of course.
Okay. So behind Turok, who's going to walk behind next?
I'll follow behind Turok.
All right. And behind Lons, or behind Ventus?
Right behind him.
Okay. So then Zane's going to be right behind Lons.
I guess, yeah.
All right. So as you guys are doing this, when you reach the end, Asher's walking up the ramp onto the ship. He turns around and waits for you guys. As each of you reach the top of the platform, he signals you to continue on. Zane, as you reach the top of the step, Asher stops you for a moment and says, "Do you think they can handle this?"
And I just kind of look at him and I say as solemn as I can. I'm like, they'll have to.
He gives you a nod. He gives a signal for the ramp to be removed, and the ship starts to move away from the dock. He turns around and he waits for you guys to follow him. And do you guys follow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So he leads you into kind of an open room that's got a table. Tells you all to have a seat at it. There's food and drink at the table. And he turns to you, Ventus, and he said, "There's something important you said you wanted to tell me."
Yeah. So, I know that I'm not your blood relative. I've kind of always known, but it was confirmed through this journey I've been on. And I know a lot about who I am. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, but there's a lot that I've learned about myself, and I know you know more than you're letting on, but I want you to know that it's okay to talk to me about it now, that I have a keen understanding of what's going on.
Okay. Tell me what you know.
I know that I am half of a celestial being, and the other half looks almost identical to me, minus a few different things, like different, like our eye. It's like we look like mirror images of each other. I'm right-handed. He seems to fight predominantly with his left hand. and on top of that, I hear, like, when we're close to each other, I can hear his thoughts and he can hear mine.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Does this person have a name?
Yeah. So far I've learned his name is Caius.
Caius.
Yeah, Caius Vellum.
Vellum. It's quite interesting to learn about.
So you don't know anything about Caius?
No. I had heard rumors, obviously, for quite some time that there was someone that looked almost identical to you. However, I had no idea who they were. Do they know who I am?
I don't know. But he seems to know a lot about the journey we're on. So I'm just trying to figure out how he knows as much as he does. And I thought maybe you might know something.
It would make sense to me that if you're two parts of the same being, then this is just my assumption, obviously. If you're two parts of the same being, to me, it would make sense that he would somehow know what's going on. I mean, to me, that sounds like a shared consciousness, but I didn't think that was possible.
Well, I don't think that it is, because I have no clue what he's doing.
Unless you hear his voice, which you say you can hear him.
Yeah,
when you're in close proximity.
Yeah, and he can hear me also.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad you found out, because I can no longer play dumb now. Your Caius is here. I met him yesterday.
Really?
From behind you, first in your head, and then you can sense the presence. You hear in your head, "Yes, brother." And then you can sense someone standing behind you.
And I just turn around.
And for you, it's almost like looking in a mirror.
And I'm just, I feel almost betrayed in a way, but that's just how Ventus is feeling. It's more or less like I understand why my father kept stuff from me, but I also feel like he's still not being honest.
Caius pulls up the chair that's next to you and sits down. And he sets his sword on the table. He says, "I told you I would meet you here to say hello to our brother."
Yeah. I don't know why you keep calling me brother. I think you and I both know that's not the case.
No, but it feels like more of a proper term. I don't know what you would call somebody that's basically you
Just call
in
me
another
Ventus.
body.
Just call me Ventus.
But it's so much more fun to call you brother.
Well, I can tell we're polar opposites. I guess that makes sense also.
Mm-hmm. And he turns his gaze to Asher and says, "Well, Asher, are you satisfied that I did not lie to you?" Asher stands up and says, "This has got to be the most confusing day of my life, aside from finding Vincent."
Really? You're gonna go with this is the most confusing?
Did you say that out loud?
Yeah.
And he turns and he looks at you and says, Do you have something more confusing than this?
Well, there was that one time whenever we kind of went down to, you know, the Vale, and you kind of had that run-in with, what was his name again? And I'm like, sitting there like, yeah, it was that woman, but it wasn't really a woman, and you were quite confused when you found that out.
My guard is immediately put down as I look at Asher, and I'm like,
I have to make light of I in this one moment whenever everything's so flippin' serious. I just have to make that one light joke, and I just crack this grin across my face.
like I feel like the wall that I had like this guard up, and I just let it down when he made that joke, and I'm like,
With that response, Asher looks at you and goes, "Really? Now you develop a sense of humor?"
You might remember I've had one for a long time. It's just been absent for many years.
You've changed.
Hey, Zane, should we tell him about what happened on Eden's String?
Well,
Exactly what we're talking about.
Turok, since you're the one that remembers it, maybe you should be the one to tell him.
Well, I'm thinking, I'm like, which part? Because there's several.
Well, okay, yes. But... And then I'll hold up my left hand with the wedding ring.
Oh, no. Like, oh, these dunces got married.
And to what?
And I'm like, well, for you it's
Go
easy,
ahead.
but for
Oh,
your
yeah.
friend over there, and I point at Ventus, and right there should be where Asher should be like,
Asher is.
He
Asher
wasn't
goes.
confused, he is now.
Asher puts his hands over his face, kind of runs them down at the same time. No, I'm not gonna ask.
your kid married a Minotaur.
I'm not.
Your kid married a Minotaur.
hey, we're not racist here, okay?
We're not.
We're not racist here.
I would not ever in my life be.
That would be speciesist.
I'm sorry, my bad. Speciesist.
Species.
I'm manifesting popcorn right now and just enjoying myself.
Well, Asher's gonna look to you, Lons, and he's got this look on his face like, "How did you get through this unscathed?"
I talk
He
a
didn't
lot
pay
to
attention,
myself.
How did I get through it unscathed?
No, he's talking to Lons.
Oh,
No,
Like,
Lons.
how did you get through this unscathed?
Oh man, I just make attempts to write songs and lyrics about how dumb these dudes are, and it kind of gets me through.
And he looks at
None of it
Ventus,
ever
and he
gets
looks
written
at
on paper.
Tudorok, and he goes, "I'm sure he's gonna have quite the lengthy album on the two of you."
I look at Turok and
Yeah.
I fist bump.
Fist bump
Lons and
back.
the Three Stooges,
Just wait till
baby.
the kids come. Just wait till the kids come. They want to visit Uncle Lons.
I'm not in a hurry for that part. You can keep on.
Pius kind of leans back and just grins a little bit and says, "Asher, as entertaining as all of this is, I agreed to come here and not fight anybody. On the terms of finding out what everyone knows.
Well,
Should I find that information worth keeping things copacetic, then I would continue the journey with Ventus. And Ventus, I'll even throw you the caveat of not calling you brother."
well, I'm gonna be real with you, Kais, and I want you to look me in the eyes when I tell you this.
Oh, he's getting serious.
You need to understand that I do not trust you.
And I don't trust you. So in that, we
for
are
good reason.
mutual.
So, I want you to be very honest with me. I'm not against the idea, but there will be no scheming if you're with us. You understand? There can't be. I refuse to travel with someone I can't trust.
And he says, may I ask you a genuine question?
Okay.
What have I done to make you suspect me of anything?
Well, it's... First off, impersonating me is a horrible first step to that. Not that you
I've
can
never
help
once
it.
impersonated you.
Not on purpose.
I mean, I can't help my appearance.
Well, there's a lot of people that think that I have done a lot of things that I have not done, and I've had that kind of haunt me. So,
That's no fault of my own.
you didn't think to clarify?
I never once claimed to be you.
Well, anyways.
And he says it with the smuggest look, like one of those you want to reach across the table and slap him smug looks.
I just sit back and say, you're also incredibly secretive, and you have not given any of us a reason to trust you.
And none of you have given me reason to trust you.
So why are you
So
here?
again, we stand on equal ground.
Why are you here? That's
For
my
the
question.
same reason you are.
All right.
The anomaly, right? The anomaly. That's what we're all here for. The flipping anomaly. The thing that we're about to sail towards. The thing that we're on the way to go to and go see. This is the thing that we're doing.
Indeed.
All right. Well, I guess I can let it go for now. But
As you have my word, and my word is my bond on my life.
that's all I needed to hear.
He slides his sword in front of you and says, on my life, by my own blade.
That's all I
You-
needed to hear.
If the
Speaking of
information
this
is...
blade, like I'm kind of curious. Well, how would you describe that thing?
So, as you look at the blade when he goes to slide it across, his blade is not the large and bulky blades that Ventus is known for. This looks, and I can't remember what this thing is actually called off the top of my head, but it's essentially the longer version of a katana.
Not like an adachi, like a
Like a-
Masamune,
yeah.
uh,
More like a Masamune.
mm. So he's freaking Sephiroth. Okay, all right, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
very cool.
Um,
How do you casually
can-
place something that large on the table, though? I mean, like, you have to, like, knock everybody
You
out.
Yeah.
Like, you saw,
It's a
slide it
fair-
across the table and touch everybody along the way.
it's a fairly large table. So. Now, granted, the blade doesn't fit all the way across normal. It does hang off a little. But when you're looking at it, you can see that the back of the blade that is not sharp is black, and the sharpened side of the blade has this light blue tint to it.
Interesting.
It says,
I want.
as I said, you know, if the information that I hear here today is worth what I needed, what I'm hoping it's worth, I will continue on my journey with you, and I will not fight you. If I find it to be a waste of my time, then we'll fight.
Why would you fight if it's a waste of your time? I have no idea what to expect either. There's no reason to fight.
We won't know till we reach our destination now, will we?
Alright.
No, but we can speculate.
Oh, speculate, yes, absolutely. But why waste energy before truth is revealed?
Mm.
I'll just nod at Caius, say, alright, I'm gonna hold you to your word. And then I'll walk over to Zane and kind of cross my arms like I'm pouting a little bit. And I say, my sword's bigger. And I just kind of lean back.
And Zane's just gonna kind of do this little number where he's just slightly massaging his temples a little bit. And he's gonna be like, "Okay, okay, we're very it's okay, buddy." And I just kind of tap you on the shoulder.
The guy stands up from the table and he grabs a sword, places it back onto his back, says, "I will take to my quarters. Let me know when we arrive at our destination."
Okay.
He gives Asher a nod. Ventus, he gives you this kind of exactly what Zane just did. This little blah 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 bow to you, and he looks at Asher and he gives Asher a solid nod, like an actual respectful nod, and turns around and walks out.
And as he turns around, he doesn't see me, and I do exactly what he did. I'm like, walking.
Bobby bastard.
Prick. Okay. Yeah, we can. I'm gonna go sharpen my swords. Walk away.
All right. As you go to walk out with pouting, pulling your sword out so you can start sharpening it, Asher reaches over and grabs you by the arm and says, "Don't do anything stupid."
I'm not. You don't understand. That's okay.
He lets you go, and he turns to Rock and Lawns and says, "It's going to take us about half the day to get there. So anything that you need to do it over the next few hours." And then he turns to you, Zane. He says, "Zane, if this is what we think it is,
Yep.
do you think you might find anything to help your research?"
If this is what I think it is, then it might be the answer to everything.
Do you think it'll finally answer the question as to this whole thing with Caius and Ventus? When you look at him, you can see there is a genuine, confusing concern on his face.
And I'm just like, and I'm like, and I'm trying to reconcile what Zane really knows, and trying to figure out just how much he should tell him,
Okay.
And so if he's looking at Asher and he just kind of he's got him a dead look in his eyes, and you can kind of see like that deadness in Zane's eyes, and he's like, "Asher, if this anomaly is what I think it is, Ventus and Caius are going to be truly put to the test. And we might not, this whole world might never be the same."
You think so? Well,
I kind of need to know. I mean, you said it's a half hour from here, or half a day's trip from here, and that's if the position of the Eden string is where it is, and I'm thinking about it being, according to what I remember of my charts of these oceans, if I'm thinking about it being there, I think it's going to be Astera. And if it's Astera, then we've got a whole other litany of problems that we're about to be facing.
what kind of problems do you think we'll have?
I've only been able to find so many pieces of literature that are still in existence that haven't been wiped off the face of the earth. This floating city is supposed to be the thing that basically predates our known world. I have no idea the depths of the technology or power that this thing might possess. All I know is that the artifacts that we've been finding are possibly the key to something that would help me to gain a better understanding. And I can only hope that this can prove it should be true.
Hopefully, whatever we find there will help us in the long run. I don't know. My worry is that this is going to do something to Ventus. And not for the better, but possibly for the worse.
I think I need to talk to him.
Would you?
Yeah. But before I get too mired in what I have to take care of, I think I need to.
I would greatly, greatly appreciate that.
And I just kind of nod to him, and then I say, well, soon we're probably going to have another conversation. Because I need you to be prepared as well.
What do I need to be prepared for?
And then I just kind of go up to him, and I just kind of place my hand, I ball it up, and I kind of place it just right there on his chest plate, and I'm like, Ventus will not come out of this the same.
I can only pray for the best.
And then I just kind of back off, and I start walking towards Ventus's cabin.
Alright. As you're walking out, you get a notification over your radio that your ship is going to be about 30 minutes out from you, and you'll be able to collect whatever you need.
All right.
Lons and Turok, what are the two of you going to be doing?
I'm gonna be somewhere quiet, meditating.
Okay. And Lons?
During what in particular?
While you're waiting for the last couple of hours of this journey on the ship.
Is it night or day?
It's about midday. Let's call it between noon and 2.
I'm gonna go on the top deck of the ship, and just nap.
Do a little sunbathing.
If the sun's out, I mean, guns out.
All right.
Oh, guns out.
All right. So you got about 30 minutes before your ship is in to bring you whatever you need. You said you were going to head towards Ventus' cabin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you're going to knock on his door.
Yep.
All right. Ventus, you hear a knock on your cabin door.
Come in.
And I make my way in there.
All right.
And
You're inside, and I'm going to let you guys take it from here.
Hey, Zane.
like, how's it going there, dude?
Good. I got my swords ready. I'm just checking to make sure my runes are still fine. Make sure they're not weathered so it doesn't affect anything. Not that I super need them, but it doesn't hurt. you never know what we're gonna run into down there. So I just want to make sure I'm prepared. I can't afford to be dead weight.
And I just kind of, you see Zane doing something that he doesn't normally do. Like, he's just kind of, like, you're sitting kind of like at one of the little tables off to the side, I'm guessing, with your swords laid out across it and all that.
Yeah, I just finished sharpening the second one.
And you'll see Zane kind of walking over there to the table, and you just see him kind of tracing his hand like along the edge of the table, and just kind of he looks like he's tripping over his own words inside of his head, like not really wanting to start the conversation but knowing that he has to have the conversation, kind of thing. And so, like, you can just kind of see him just kind of messing with the edge of the table and picking up the edge of the sword and looking at it for a second and setting it back down. And
I say, Zane, have a seat. Just sit down for a minute.
And I just kind of stop, and I'm like, the fact that you're actually able to be the one to hold your composure instead of me, that just blows my mind entirely.
I feel like I don't have a choice. But just sit down, relax for a second, and just tell me what's going on. What's on your mind?
And so Zane just kind of breaks out, pulls back the chair, sits down, kind of sits on the edge of the chair, places his elbows on the table, and kind of folds his hands over the top of each other, and he's just kind of like, Ventus, we've really only been able to scratch the surface of a lot of these mysteries and a lot of the things that are associated with you.
I know.
It's racked my brain for the better part of a year trying to figure out, trying to just, I feel like I'm not even clutching around the edges of all this, the immense amount of shit that I have had just kind of floating around up here.
And that's crazy because weren't you given, like, ultimate knowledge?
And with ultimate knowledge comes very little understanding. That's what I'm talking about whenever I say that I'm barely gripping it, barely coming to terms with what I've learned. I was able to figure out a lot. I was able to figure out that we had, instead of 4 moons, we have 6. We have 6 satellites that are going around this planet right now, and that there's more to it than that. That there's an immense amount of technology that's already been in place that we haven't even had knowledge of ever. I haven't reported half of my findings, half of the things that I've actually been able to uncover, because I don't have the amount of data that I need to actually be able to quantify it, to be able to categorize it. I don't even know if there's a category for it. You know how humans always seem to have that ability to try and sit there and categorize everything? They want to meticulously make every little thing make sense. And so we have to put it in a category, give it a thing, give it a time, give it a place, give it a name. Some of this shit I can't even imagine putting a name to.
It's a lot, Zane. It is a lot for us to wrap our heads around, for it to break the convention of everything we've ever known about this world. And it is, a lot of it is felt like an introduction to this world for me. So I understand why you would be stressed out. It feels like I'm coming into this world. I've never really left home apart from when we started this whole damn journey. I've never really left home, and whenever I finally leave, looking for some semblance of relief, something that I can relate to, there's nothing. Nobody, nothing I can relate to at all. Everything is different than it's ever happened for anybody, and I'm just trying to be calm about it. I'm trying to take it in and understand that I will never really have anyone in my life understand this life that I am living. And I've begun to accept that, but also I wanted to say that to tell you this. I know that it's stressing you out not knowing. Okay?
Well,
But
it's the things that I do know that plague me more now than what I don't know.
wouldn't
And what
that,
I do know, and I just kind of reach over there and I like literally just kind of grab your forearm with my left hand, and I just grab your forearm and I'm like, what I do know is that you're about to be faced with your very existence. You're about to be faced with a very important, I guess precipice is the word. Like, you're about to be on the edge of what you know, and you're about to have to face coming to terms with the whole of who you are. And I think you understand what I mean by that, don't you?
I mean, I could make a few guesses.
And I'm like, it's no.
Is that
It's
what
no mere
Caius meant
coincidence.
when he said
It-
he would either fight us or join us?
It's going to be so much more than I think even Caius knows, because it's no mere coincidence that he's here.
No,
That we're both being driven to this point in this particular time. It's not.
So are you thinking that it's been orchestrated by something bigger?
I mean, the very face itself couldn't. It wouldn't even surprise me if it was literally just fate and time itself.
I wonder how involved these celestials that I'm supposed to be familiar with. I wonder how tied into this they are, or if they're just following a script just like us.
I think that even as much as they know and they understand, they're really just barely scratching at it as much as we are.
How do you even get higher up than the celestials? Like, how do you? I don't
The
even.
people who are supposed to be our gods, right?
I don't understand.
And I'm like, the things that I've been made to know, Ventus, I can't even start to explain it to you. It's literally world breaking, and you are going to have to make a very willful decision whenever it comes down to it. I can already feel it in my heart and in my mind. I just know that you're going to have to make a very willful decision whenever this comes down to it. I need you to know something. I need you to really take it to heart. The decision that you make in the coming days, in this coming time, is you need to make it, and you need to be the one to come through it.
I take a deep breath, and I just kind of put my hand on Zane's shoulder, and I smile and look at him and say, It'll be okay. We'll make it. We've got each other.
And I just kind of, I'm just like doing this number, and I'm like, oh shit.
We'll be okay. There's no use in stressing about it, Zane. All you're gonna do is weaken your bullets. And all it's gonna do is dull my blade. There's no point in stressing. I understand, and I will take heed in your message. But we need to focus.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to get you to do, and I just need you to know that.
I'm focused.
You need to be the one to come through this.
I have no choice. I have no choice. And I've accepted that.
And then I just, I place my hand like right on top of your head, and I'm like, don't let him win. And then I just take my hand away, and I literally stand up, and I start to walk out of the room.
I start thinking, like, what the fuck is he talking? Caius? No, he ain't gonna beat me. No, I can't
Like
let
a
nobody
redheaded stepchild.
Can't let nobody beat me.
Alrighty.
I just start thinking, like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Alright, we're gonna hop over to you, Turok. What did you say you were doing?
I found a quiet place that I can find to meditate.
Okay. Well, while you're sitting there meditating, give me it's essentially going to be a perception check. Gonna see if you sense somebody sit down next to you.
Better not be who I think it is. 27.
27.
Yep.
You sense a very familiar presence. Doesn't really set you
Okay.
off, but it does kind of almost break your concentration.
Okay. Still meditating, you said almost breaks it, so I'm still focused in.
Okay.
A little bit more comfort now that, I know somebody's sitting next to me, somebody that I sense is familiar.
Okay. After a few minutes, this being that sat next to you still hasn't said anything, touched you or nothing, and it's starting to kind of not really bother you, but it's starting to pull your attention from your meditation.
Can I help you?
As a matter of fact, I believe you can. And you recognize the voice as Caius.
That's not who I wanted. What do you want?
Just a few moments of your time. Nothing nefarious,
Fine.
I promise.
Alright. Then I just kind of snapped back to where I was and just look at him.
You kind of see him, he's sitting down next to you, cross-legged, got his hands in his lap, doesn't have his sword on him, and he's just kind of staring off into the distance. Doesn't even turn to look at you. He says, you know, your friend is going to have to make a choice that he's not going to be happy with, right?
I believe we all are about to make that choice. It's going to be different choices, but we're all going to make that one.
Indeed. I simply ask you one small, granted, possibly out of line favor. Are you willing to hear me out?
I'll hear you out.
When he makes his choice, and I have a feeling he will make it very specific, do not interfere. No matter how badly you want to protect him.
Gonna be extremely hard for me to do.
Give me a roll for intuition. Or insight.
I cannot math it. Jesus Christ. 25.
You can tell by the way he's speaking that he is speaking in absolute truth. There is nothing malicious behind his words. Now give me a perception roll as well.
Same, 25.
Okay. Even though you can only see his profile, you can only really make out the corner. You can even tell by his gaze that there's actually concern in his eyes. He finally breaks his gaze away from staring off in the distance and simply stands up and goes to walk away. He says, I'll leave you to your meditation. As he walks through the doors, a familiar figure walks out. Kind of sideways looking down, Caius walks past him, stops for a moment, and then turns around and looks at you and goes, Was that Ventus? And it's your brother, Endarn.
Nope.
It's Endar.
Oh, it's a good thing I was standing up already. Alright, I'm gonna pull out some stone, skin, and wine and be like, no, was not Ventus. Whole story. It's gonna get confusing. We might need this, but, you know, we only got a few hours till we get to where we're going.
I'm sure there's quite the book behind that, but I'd hang on to that wine, brother.
It's more than just a book.
I
It's
don't
probably
doubt
like
it.
a library at this point.
He walks over to you, grabs the wine out of your hand, sits down, and sets it on the floor. Says, as much as I would
Join.
love to get drunk with you, now's
I
not the
didn't say about
time.
getting drunk.
He looks at you and says,
I was in it.
he looks at you and says, I'm not a fool. I'm your brother. There's a difference.
Yeah, except I've really cut back on my drinking since I traveled with monks. So I'm a little bit of a lightweight, and I don't plan on getting drunk, not knowing what we're about to go through.
That's why we're not drinking, because if I pick that up, you're getting drunk. And he kind of turns away,
Fair
and
enough.
you see him kind of do the same thing that Ventus did. It's a little more casual and relaxed. He's got one leg kind of underneath the other, got his elbow propped on one knee, starts staring off.
Ventus, you mean Caius?
Or Caius, sorry. And starts looking around and says, look, whatever we're about to get into, a lot of us aren't coming back from. I can feel it. And I know it in my bones. A lot of us aren't coming back.
Starting to get that feeling.
Because I want you to know, no matter what happens, I know we didn't get much time together, but I'm proud of you. If I'm lost in this, I want you to carry on with your head up. Carry our family name with pride.
Speaking of family.
Yes, I hear congratulations are in order.
Yep. Thank you. I really haven't had the time to tell you.
No, Asher just kind of gave me a quick breakdown,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a little surprising.
It was. I was not expecting it whatsoever.
Do you feel you made a good choice?
Without a doubt.
Then that is all that matters.
Yep.
So, well, what's the name of your tribe now?
Still Stone Skin.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. Is it? I had.
If I remember
Maybe I can
correctly,
second
you
guess
guys, yeah, didn't you guys combine your
Yeah.
clan names?
Yeah. Do. I could have swore I wrote it down.
That's all right. As
Oh,
regardless,
that's gonna bug the hell out of me.
if I make it out of this, I look forward to meeting the bride.
Oh, you really need to. She's amazing.
Well, she picked a stone skin.
Oh,
She's got to be amazing.
yeah. Oh, you also need to meet Ventus's wife too.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Again, it just sort of happened.
Like
Sh-
either she was desperate or he really liked her.
More like she really liked him. Like he made an impression on her for some. I don't know exactly how. I mean, I kind of egged it on a little bit, but you know.
That I don't doubt for a moment.
So out of character, it's because we headbutted each other.
Yeah.
In
I
case
was
you
gonna
forgot.
get to that.
In case you forgot, I was just.
You withstood
I was gonna
the
be like-
headbutt before fainting.
Yeah.
You didn't die. You
Yeah.
didn't die. As a human, you didn't die.
We went head to head. I think more than once. I think it was like 3 times or so. We
3 times.
Yeah.
we went head to head, and like she felt it. I felt it, but she felt it. I'm the one without horns now. But
Yeah, I was basically did that whole deal where we had to withstood headbutts.
Whoa,
I
wait a
obviously
minute.
was a
Wait,
yeah
what clan did he marry into?
stout skull.
And he survived?
Took him 3 times till he passed out. She was impressed that he was still alive.
No wonder she picked him.
Hmm
He's quite literally hard-headed.
Yeah.
son of the Iron Wall.
He
We've been
reaches
trying to tell
down.
everybody that. Nobody wants to believe us.
He reaches down and grabs the wine, stands up and says, "It's good to see you, brother. I'm
Yep.
gonna take this with me. I gotta go celebrate with
Well, hold
Ventus."
up. No,
And
I'm
he
I'm
just
getting
turns
my
around.
Sip out of that, thank you.
No, you need a level head.
What?
He said no.
And he points the index finger right at you. Karate chops you. No. You remain sober.
But
And he turns around and he walks away. Ventus, you hear a real heavy pound on your.
Oh, who is it now? Come in.
He opens the door, swings open, and a giant minotaur walks in and goes, "Someone got married." And you recognize Andarin.
And darn, bro. How have you been?
Fantastic. I wanted to come and have a quick celebratory drink with you.
Oh, okay. I can't have much. I got a big day tomorrow. So
what?
Oh, I understand that. He walks over, sets the drink down, grabs you by both sides of your head, and just slams his forehead into yours.
All right. Do I? Can I react like to see if I can expect it?
You're gonna roll a D100 to determine just how wobbly you.
Where's my D10? Oh, here it is. 87.
Okay, you're not wobbly at all, but you definitely have a few stars cross your gaze.
My eyes cross.
A little bit. He goes, huh. So he was telling the truth.
What was that for, Eddie Darn?
Says, I heard you married a stout skull
Oh, yeah.
and went 3 rounds and survived.
Yeah.
He says, take a sip.
All right. I'm going to need it. My head kind of hurts.
Steals my wine.
After you take the sip, he takes a quick shot out of it and says, I just wanted to stop by, see for myself, and say congratulations. And I will see you when we land.
Okay. Real quick before you go, I want to ask you something.
What can I do you for?
I need, no matter what happens, I need you to make it through this.
I can make no promises on that.
No,
you
need to live. You still owe me arm wrestling.
I promise you I will do my best. I told Turok I just feel something in my bones. A lot of us aren't coming back from whatever we're about to come to.
I really hope that feeling is not warranted. But I would be lying if I said I didn't feel some form of anxiousness. But all I can do is just keep moving forward. But I'm going to give... I want you to make it a point to live so you can come beat me in arm wrestling.
He turns around with a grin on his face and puts his massive hand on your shoulder and says, look, I'm a stone skin. Even if I do fall, I'm taking a bunch of them with me. And he gives you a nod, and he turns around and he walks out, closes your door.
I can't rest, man. I'm antsy. I gotta leave this room. I grab all my stuff and I just I like get fully decked out, put all my stuff on, and just start pacing the halls.
All right. Now we're gonna hop over to Lons. Lons, while you're laying out on the deck, getting your sun rays in, getting a little nap, you hear a familiar voice. It says, really? In a time like this, you're gonna take a nap. You should be excited. You recognize the voice as your sister, Maria. Can't hear you.
It's always me, of course. I got the one eye open, one eye shut thing. Like I'm very annoyed.
Says, what? You're not happy to see your little sister?
Very grateful that you're here. But I don't really have anything else going on right now, so I'm just taking it a little easy.
I guess with all the adventures you've been having, a little hurt?
Well, if they want me at my best, I'm gonna have to rest.
Now that should be in one of your songs.
I might just have to do that.
She walks up next to where you're.
question.
She walks up next to where you're laying down and kind of pops herself up onto the ledge so she can sit by you. She said, I just wanted to see you one more time before we reach our destiny. But I know that Zane's not going to let me go. Like there's no God that we know of that would be able to convince him otherwise. But I wanted to see my brother one more time. There seems to be an air about the boat that a lot of people think they're coming back. Oh, you can't.
I'm not really sure why
blame
people
me.
think that.
I don't know, but if I'm being honest, I get kind of the same feeling. I don't know if you're walking into a trap or if you're just walking into something unholy that can't be avoided.
I mean, for what it's worth, I'm going to be extra careful.
You're gonna be what?
I will actually take this serious.
I hope you do. We know you've got quite the personality, and I hope it serves you well in battle, should there be one.
You know, it hasn't failed me yet.
Fair enough. Says, I wanted to give you one thing to take with you before you guys go into this bell tower. And she pulls out a picture of you, her, your mom, and your dad. Says this is from when you came and stayed with us for a year and a half. That portrait we took as a family.
I remember. I remember it well.
Says, I thought you would like to have something with you to have us near and dear, if it were.
Of course.
Says, I know you can't guarantee it, but just do your best to come back, okay?
Well, I got a lot to fight for now. And as much as these guys annoy me, I think they're here to stay, so.
She hops down from the ledge and she goes, yeah, you do have a lot to fight for. And she taps her stomach.
Is that what I think that means?
Yep. Says you're,
Just tell me who I gotta kill. That's all I want to know. Who am I killing first?
Says nobody you have to kill. I found someone after you left for your newest journey, and he's quite good to me. And then she holds up her hand. She goes, we did get married. Sorry we weren't able to get you to the wedding. We didn't know where to send the invite. But you do have a possible niece or nephew that'll be waiting for you when you come back.
I don't even know what to say. That's awesome. I just hope you can take care of you when I'm not around. Because that's what I'm most worried about, is someone to be around to protect the family for me.
I think he's a quite capable man. And I'm sure that he will do his absolute best. As I'm sure you will, to make sure you do your absolute best to come back to us. And you have my permission to slap the dog shit out of him if you survive for not actually getting you the invite.
Right.
He's kind of expecting it. I will let you get back to your nap. And I will get off this ship before Zane tries to scream or yell at me for even being here.
It's probably for the best. I just slowly kind of lay back down in the position I was, but I have like my eyes closed, but I'm kind of smiling at the same time.
Zane, after you had your conversation with Ventus, where did you go?
Went to go wait at the rendezvous spot for the ship to come, or the sprite to come down with what I needed.
Okay. Well, the sprite is down on the main deck. They're unloading the supplies, and during this unload, you were pretty occupied with unloading and double checking to make sure that everything that was brought on was what you asked for. Roll me a perception check.
I'm the low roller tonight. 14.
It'll still be high enough. You catch a glimpse of Maria kind of ducking back onto it.
Back onto the Sprite.
Yep.
And I just kind of look up the ramp as I've kind of got one of those little check clipboards in my hand, and I've got like the pencil, and I'm sitting there, and I make sure that she sees me whenever I'm sitting there and I'm holding the pencil, and then like I just go, and I'm just like, and I just toss the pencil over my shoulder, like I just.
She kind of gives you this shy grin, like, well, you caught me.
I'm like, I can't, just. And I'm like, well, considering what the we're getting ourselves into, and I'm like, okay, 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 it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Just you're going, right? You're not staying. You're going.
She walks kind of girlish, shy, back down the ramp towards you, and she puts her hand on. She puts one hand on you while you're doing this, and then she puts another hand on her stomach, and you see her put her hand on her stomach. She goes, "I know there's not a chance in the 9 hells you would let me join this adventure."
No, 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 get on the ship now. You should have been gone already.
Says, "I wanted to give something to my brother before you guys."
And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I understand, but damn it, damn it, damn it.
I was
Ugh,
kind
now
of
you're making me
hoping
feel
you.
bad for bringing it. Now you're making me feel bad for humping him along. Shit.
Well, he's doing this by choice, so
Maybe, but this
you
is.
guys have clearly made an impression on him. He wants to help you.
Mm,
So
I can only hope that it's going to be what we need it to be. So.
I hope so. But I told him I've noticed the common air about the ship, and I kind of have the same sense myself. Do your best to bring everyone back.
And like, there's. Can I ask the DM to roll me a perception check?
Sure.
I want to do this real quick just to see if she notices it. But I need to kind of. Let's see what we got. I'll give
16?
you
It's a natural 16.
a natural 16. I'll give you the +3 that I was thinking about giving you. So yeah, I mean,
Then-
you're gonna see in this briefest of moments, just like as Zane just kind of looks like in your eyes, you're gonna see just this thing where it's like a knowing look that it feels like it's a promise that he might only be able to keep for certain things, like for certain people.
Okay.
Like he just kind of has like this, almost like a look of like half dread and half promise, like.
Okay.
And then Zane just kind of says, I can only hope.
And with the realization of what she saw in your eyes, she kind of takes a step back from you for a moment to reorient her thoughts. And she says, "I know there's nothing I can say that would put your mind at ease. But I've known you for a long time. And I know that you love Ventus and Turok, whether you would ever admit it or not. You love them like they were your own sons. And I know you would always do your best to bring safety to them. But if this helps at all, as long as you do your best, even if you can't bring them all back, At least I'll know you did everything you could. And with that, she gives you kind of a shy nod and turns around and goes back up the ramp.
And so Zane just kind of has the clipboard and everything, and he's just kind of sitting there, and he's holding it like this, and then like it's almost like in this one moment he just kind of just drops his shoulders and kind of just stands there, kind of defeated.
As you do that, one of your crew walks off and says, "Sir, we have to get this thing in the air and off the ship now. We're starting to catch some weird signals that are starting to mess with the panels. I think you guys are getting close to your destination."
And I'm like, yeah, well, be safe, I look at him and I'm like, and keep her safe.
Says, "Absolutely, sir." It gives you a salute. Says, "Clear the ramp," and hits the retractor to start bringing the ramp in.
Okay.
As the ramp closes up, Asher comes up behind you and says, "Did you get all the supplies that you..."
And I'm looking over the checklist and everything, and I'm like, it looks like it's all here, and I need to work fast, apparently.
Says, "Yeah, my men are telling me that we're actually a lot closer to it than we initially thought we were. Instrument readings are already going berserk." He kind of puts his hand up onto his forehead like he's trying to block the sun a little bit. And you see the direction that he's staring. And he says, "My God, we are closer. Look at that thing." You look off in the distance and you can see the tower jutting out of the water. Ventus, Lons, and Turok, all three of you kind of get this feeling in your gut to look off the side of the ship.
We'll say port side.
Yeah, port side.
Okay.
What the hell?
That's about what your reaction would be. Lons, do you sit up to go with your gut instinct?
I'm full focus on this thing.
Okay. So what all of you see is this single tower that from this range you're assuming is probably about 2 football lengths in width, jutting straight up into the air. And it goes up into the air for well over a mile. Like you could just barely make out where the top is broke through the cloud.
How the hell did they have a hard time finding this?
Because it didn't want to be found.
And Darn has come out on the deck. And he's standing next to you, Turok. And he says, "Well, never thought I'd see something like that sticking out of the water."
Right. Could I have my wine back?
Yep. And he takes a swig and hands it to you.
And I go ahead and take one too. I was like, I've been waiting to take one freaking swig of this.
A few of the crewmen are standing around where you're at, Lons, and you can kind of hear the mumbling among themselves. And you hear one of them say, "What the hell is that?" And then Ventus, you had to come out of your room to look at this. You can see a few of the deckhands kind of to your left a little bit, staring off to the side, looking at it, and they're talking to each other. And one of them's got a pad in his hand, and it looks like he's frantically looking over some readings, and he looks concerned.
So, this is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. It's massive. but it feels familiar.
Yes, it feels familiar.
And I kind of
Do you approach the man with the pad?
yeah.
All right. What do you do when you approach him?
And I just ask him, have you ever seen this before?
He turns and looks at you and says, "Look, I've been sailing the seas for 2 decades. I have never in my life seen anything like that."
Have you been in this area before?
A million times.
I
A million might be a stretch, but I've passed these waters countless. Never once. Of course, in my defense, every time we've gotten these odd readings, we tend to avoid this because any common sense sailor would know to avoid anything that messes with your instrument.
No, I understand that. I just feel extremely anxious all of a sudden. Have you seen this?
As you say that, you hear what sounds like a boom come through the speaker of the pad in his hand.
What was that?
He says, "That was an explosion,"
From where?
and he points right at the tower. So the signal is coming from there.
All right, thanks. And I take off running.
He goes, "But oh, okay,
I go
And-
running towards Zane.
all right." Now, as you're running towards Zane, Caius has stepped out into the hallway, and he sees you running, and he goes, "Did you feel that?
Oh, I heard it.
You heard it?"
Yeah. The guy with the clipboard over there on the deck had an explosion come through his little speaker and said it was coming from the tower. I'm going to get Zane. All right, see you. And then I run past him and I run towards Zane.
As you go to run past him, he gets right alongside you, and he's full stride with
All right, come on then. Let's go.
you. This is the first time in the few encounters that you've had with him where your sense of what he may intend towards you has been solidified as not malicious at all. You could feel everything he was feeling, and you realized at this point
He's just as
that
curious as I am.
he's just as anxious, confused, and scared as you are.
For the first time in our lives, have we ever felt this same?
Yep.
Crazy. That's crazy as fuck, dude. Okay.
Only takes an explosion in a bell tower to bring you guys together. What the?
Turok and Darn slaps you across the chest, pulls out his hammer, and says, "Well, I think we might want to go take care of this. Give me 1 second, guys."
Agreed.
Think he might want to go and take care of that.
Yeah, he says, he pulls out his hammer and says, "I think we need to go to Zane."
Agreed. And I've already put away my put away the wine after we took our swig, and I'm already grabbing for my shield and lance and starting to get away from the rail to go run towards Zane.
All right. And Lons, you're going to kind of, after you've seen the crewman, you can see Turok and Darin running from one side, and you can hear Caius kind of yelling, but not aggressively yelling at Ventus about what he felt come from the tower. And when you turn to your right and realize where they're running from and the direction that they're running in, now you've realized, okay, the whole crew's running towards the other end of the ship. What do you do?
Or they're running towards Ventus and Caius?
No, we're running
Or-
towards Zane.
They're running
Yeah.
towards Zane down one side of the ship, and Turok
Pretty
and
sure you can
Darn
hear
are
me.
running down the other side. Yeah, you can definitely hear the two of them bolting down the other side of the ship. You got two bulls literally
Or
running
me.
across it.
The ship is tilting.
And the ship is tilting on one side.
Yeah.
You thought it was the waves. No, it's not the waves. It's a couple of freaking big ass.
All right. Well, I'm going to trust the
People
Minotaurs
underneath are panicking.
intuition, and I'm going to follow the Minotaurs.
You're gonna follow the Minotaurs?
Hell yeah. I would love to
Okay.
catch one of their tails and just
Oh,
like
maybe.
fly with them like Whiplash.
All right.
Careful now, I might hit you overboard with mine.
He's gonna turn to the left.
All right. So, Zane, you and Asher can hear the Minotaurs coming down one side of the ship, and you can kind of faintly hear someone running down the other side in your direction.
So, did we hear the explosion that happened?
No one has notified you yet. Like, you didn't hear it. Nobody's told you anything.
Okay.
You just know that you've got your team is running rapidly in your direction.
And I just kind of turn around and basically I've been since the bell tower came into view, I'm like already opening up these cases trying to find what I'm looking for.
Okay.
And basically it's all the different pieces of the artifact that have been assembled already that I'm trying to get together. So
Okay.
hopefully I'm able to kind of put them in the same vicinity.
All right. So everybody has reached you at this point. Caius and Ventus are side by side right in front of you. Both a little bit out of breath because they've been in a dead sprint. And
And I'm like,
the look on both of their faces kind of catches you off guard because you can see the anxiety and the confusion in both of their faces.
mhm.
And Caius looks at you and says, I'm guessing you didn't feel that either.
And I'm like, no. No.
So, we need to hurry up to the tower.
Question, real quick. Did I see Ventus and Caius running side by side when I was running up with them?
As you guys are coming around that corner, you see them coming up on
Okay.
Zane
be
and
in a
Asher.
really- I'm gonna be really deep breath. So I see Caius is actually playing nice for once.
Oh man, you missed a perfect opportunity to be like, wait a minute, am I seeing double? This
Well,
is-
you're getting ahead of me. And Darn grabs you and goes, There's two. There's two Ventuses. There's two Ventuses. There's two Ventuses.
Yeah, I meant to tell you earlier, but you just took off from the wine and ran off.
I didn't even drink that much wine. There's two of them.
Ventuses or Venti? Venti.
Oh god, Ventai sounds so wrong.
I've
Ventai.
never been to
Nice.
Starbucks, guys.
Sounds so wrong.
Awesome.
Is that an illusion or is there two of him?
Technically, it's the same being, just split in two.
Huh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna need more wine.
No, you're
And
not.
he starts walking forward, and when he gets up there, he grabs you, Ventus. He grabs you by the back of your shirt and picks you up, And then he reaches over and grabs Caius by the front of his shirt, picks him up, and holds you guys shoulder to shoulder.
It's like they're the same.
And then he separates you guys and looks at Zane and goes, "How? How are there two?
Bro,
There was one. Now there's two.
You missed.
How were there two?"
Calm down, brother. Calm down.
You missed a lot, man. So can you put me
Yeah.
down now, please?
Oh, yeah, sorry. And he sets both of you down, and Caius just kind of smiles like, "That's a fun one."
Zane, we need to hurry up and get to the tower, like now.
And I just turn and I look at him, and I look down at the boat, and I look back up at him, and I'm like, I have very little say in the matter. That's all
Asher turns to you, Ventus, and he also looks at Caius and he goes, "Why are you in such a hurry to go?"
There was an explosion at the tower, so I don't know what's going on, but it feels serious, and anything that would happen, why would there be explosions at the tower? Is someone trying to hide something from us?
As you say that, the man with the pad in his hand comes running up and is completely winded.
Oh, hey.
He's trying to catch his breath, and he's just waving the pad at you, Zane. He's, take it.
And I grab the pad.
All right, when you look at the pad, now you hear explosion after explosion after explosion coming through the speaker. And you can see a signal on the pad that is coming directly from the tower. It is the only signal that is literally a direct line. Amongst the explosions, you can hear faint screams. You can hear gunfire. You can hear yelling. You can just make out somebody barking orders.
And this is coming from the tower.
Yes.
There's not supposed to be anybody there.
We have to go before all of our answers are dead.
And I hand the pad back to the captain. Or is this the captain that we've been talking to? Or is
No, this is just one of the hands. This is one of the
hands.
technicians on the boat.
Okay, and I'm like, get down to engineering. Tell them to coax as much power as you can out of those engines, and let's get to the tower.
He says, "Yes, sir."
I have a
Right
question.
away. Okay.
How do we know who's on our side and who's not when we get there?
And Darn looks at you and goes,
You don't.
We don't. We're
So
who cares?
bull rush through everybody.
And I turn to him and I put my hand on his chest and I'm like, whoever's not us, buddy. Whoever's not us.
And Darn goes, "Yeah, what he said."
Alright, 2 Minotaurs leading the front. Got it.
After a couple of minutes, you
And-
feel the ship kind of kick it into high gear. It is moving towards the tower at full speed.
And I'm already turning around and I'm putting the artifacts together.
Okay.
I'm remembering what they look like in my head.
Well, remember, they all kind of form a sphere.
Yep. A sphere?
Well, cylindrical shape, not a full sphere.
It's the thing that I was thinking is that it was like this, basically like almost like a box handle thing, with like a pointy end on one side and a pointy end on the other.
Yeah, they jut up from the middle.
Yeah,
But it's not box. It's more round than box.
yeah, it is. It's a cylindrical thing, but
Yeah.
it's almost like a beer mug with a pointy top and a pointy bottom.
Yes. That's a good description. And Darn is watching you intently as you put this thing together. And
Yeah.
like, "But is that it?" Is that
And
what you've
then-
been looking for?
So then I take this and I hold it up in my hand, and then you see him grab like handle, and you see him twist, and then whenever he twists it, both of those pointy ends literally come out and become like a scepter that's about 4.5 feet tall.
He says, "Ooh, that would hurt after breakfast."
It's like, well, don't put it in places that you don't need to be putting it.
After a few more moments, you guys hear over the speakers from the ship that you're about to make impact. And at the same time, you hear Caius say, "There's no one out there."
No one at the tower?
And as you guys look around, you're at the front of the ship. You're at the front bow.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a soul in sight.
No fiery explosions, no fire, no smoke.
Nothing. But you can see that there's an opening in the side of this tower. It's one single opening.
Oh boy!
Well, at least
I
we have
twist the thing back and everything retracts back in.
at least we have a way in.
You feel the boat come. You can feel the speed of the boat come to absolute zero, and it kind of dips the front end of the boat down a little bit, and it starts to turn to its side as it comes to a halt and slides up to the tower. And Asher walks up over to the side of the boat and starts kind of looking at the opening in the side, and he puts his ear near it. I don't hear anything coming from inside. What was all that noise? From behind you, one of the deckhand comes back and says, "The signal's gone. There's nothing. There's no sound. It just blipped out like it was never there."
And I just kind of let a whisper come across my lips, and I'm like, "Amen."
Are we too late?
Actually, I think that
It's
may have
funny that you whisper that.
Mm-hmm.
All of you feel a heaviness about yourselves, and you all hear it in your heads. "This is not my doing. What you heard was an echo of the past."
And I'm like, "Yep, that's kind of what I figured."
What lies before you is the answers you seek, and hopefully the outcome we need.
The outcome we need?
And then you feel the presence leave.
How does it make me feel once the presence leaves? Do I feel anything? Do I feel any different?
Roll it. D100.
Alright. 93.
Caius walks over to you and, in an odd gesture to you, puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "Well, I know the outcome he needs. Just hope you have the guts to do it."
Well,
Says, "I'll see you inside," and he steps through.
Do I overhear that by any chance?
who is he?
Roll for it.
D100?
No.
Oh,
Turok.
You wouldn't have guessed it. Another 25.
You heard him.
starting to think to myself, like, I think he was referring to what he told me earlier about that choice. Alright. I just kind of keep that to myself. I just thought that in my head, thinking back
Okay.
to what he told me.
Okay.
All right.
When you guys see him step through, it's almost like he went through absolute darkness because once his other foot cleared it, he was no longer visible.
It's gonna be one of those doors. It's gonna be one of those doors. And then I turn around and I go to the other chest that I recommended that we get, and I open it up and I pull out.
A mimic. No, I'm
Like-
just kidding.
Technically, one of the
damn
artifacts was a mimic.
Fuck that artifact. In particular, fuck that artifact. Okay, so yeah, I pull out goggles, and I'm like, "Here's you a pair," and I pass one to Ventus, and then I put one in Asher's hands, and then I hand one to Lons, and I'm like, "We ain't getting caught in the dark again."
I can't see anything.
Like,
Yeah.
where's mine?
Oh wait, I had them on.
You were the first person I handed the pair to.
Is it big enough for me?
It is.
Are they extra sized?
Zane made sure to get the ones that were made for Minotaurs. Pick up, buddy.
Well, half dragon minotaur. It's not exact. I don't exactly look like a minotaur anymore.
Right.
Your head is still shaped like a cow, bruh.
All right. So everybody's got goggles now.
Yep, and Andarn. I went ahead and gave Andarn a pair,
Okay.
and I made sure I had a pair. And I'm like, this shit is happening.
But do we have communication devices?
And I'm like,
Yeah, we
tapping
should.
the thing on our,
Yeah,
on-
you still
yeah.
you still have those ones that you were given before. That you have kind of like the special forces style ones that are around your neck. You just press them.
Excellent.
So
Singing
I
to
thought
us.
of everything. as I slip the goggles on, I'm like, I thought of everything.
Let's hope so.
you see Asher grab his shield, and he grabs his sword, and he looks at you and says, "Well, it's time we find our answers." And he steps through without hesitation.
All right, boys, y'all ready?
Yep.
Yep, let's do this.
All
And
right.
I'm like,
And I gotta step through.
I check everything real quick, and I'm like, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm like, and then I check my pouch, and I'm like, and I shake it real good. I'm like, yep, all those there.
Can I just throw him in?
He looks at his hands, goes 12 fingers, 10 toes. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
I just want to throw him in.
and I'd already also stepped through.
Throw who
I was
in?
Just like, bye, see y'all.
Zane.
No.
Yeah,
While he's
you
talking.
throw Zane in while he's doing his count.
Yes,
I
that's
mean,
what I want to do.
if you want the most prepared motherfucker to not be prepared, sure, yeah, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. So this is what we're gonna do. I want you to roll a concentration, Zane, and Lons, I want you to roll me a strength.
So that's the D100.
That's just a 20.
It's a 20. Yeah, yours is a concentration. His is a strength.
So the D100.
It's a 20 because it's a concentration, so it will be a D20 plus your intelligence modifier.
I got a base 19.
Okay.
Plus
I don't know what my strength modifier is. I'm not looking at it right away.
Well, how about a nat 20? Is that okay? Can I
Okay.
do it?
This is beautiful. So Lons grabs you and chucks you through the opening. And you are so zeroed in on your concentration, you don't even realize it happened. And when you land on the other side, you land on your feet and continue walking, checking everything.
Like a damn cat.
Like a cat.
Damn.
Perfection. I'm like, okay, yeah, everything's here. And I'm like, wait, how'd I get in here?
I kind of just want to strut past him. Like, I want to walk through the opening, and while he's still doing, I'm just going to strut past him. Like, dude, it's already done. Like, you're already here.
Yeah, but
You
what
see
if I
him.
left something back on the boat?
You see him strut by, and that kind of light bulb kind of goes on in your head, like that motherfucker threw me.
And that's why I was like, wait, so what if I left something back on the boat?
You're good. Let's go. Okay.
So all of you are in there, and you see Caius.
I had the fucking artifact.
And Caius is standing next to a podium. And he's just standing there. Now, you can see him breathing, but he's not moving at all. And Asher is standing next to him on the left. And Asher looks like he's looking over a ledge.
A what?
A ledge.
Hmm.
So what you guys see around you, you don't even have to roll to see this. From the inside, this is about 100 feet total in circumference on the inside. And you can see the walkway that goes all the way around it, except for where you're at. Where you're at is about a 10-foot, almost like a teardrop. You're in the wider portion of the teardrop, and where they're standing is the point of it. Okay? The walkway going around is about 5 feet wide all the way around. When you look up, you can see the walls of this tower going all the way up. And you can see a very dark dot in the center that you assume is the ceiling. It's so far above you, can't really tell how high up it is.
How do they get to the top?
That's nice.
It's a shame none of us can fly.
Anyone got boots of mad hops or what?
I can
Zane, one thing that I do need you to roll a perception.
That's what they're called for sure.
Roll me that perception, Zane.
I mean, even if I did, I doubt my fat ass would get an inch off the ground.
That'd be a dirty 20.
You see about roughly 300 yards up. You just barely make this out. A portion of a large chain busted through the wall. It's like a link, a portion of a link of chain. That's how massive it is that you can just barely make this thing out from 300 yards away.
That's busted through the wall?
Through the wall.
Of the tower.
Yes. And this rings a bell for you. You remember hearing about a city that fell from the sky.
Right.
Because the chains gave.
Oh. Yeah, I remember them talking about it, and I remember that it was supposed to be Astera.
Why does that feel familiar?
Asher finally looks up from looking over the edge, and he looks over at you, Zane. He goes, "What is this place?" He says that to you, Zane.
And I'm trying, I'm trying to think. I mean, this is like literally Zane's trying to compute in his head like how to explain. And I'm like, think of a city that controls everything.
So this is like a central hub? The heart?
Yeah. Yeah, that well, this would be a very small part of it.
And after you say that, Caius finally turns around and goes, "You can't feel the thrumming of the heartbeat of the city?"
And I'm like, I mean, I lift up my arm and I'm just like, the arm that's supposed to be able to feel magic, that's supposed to be able to feel the essence of runes and everything about it. I'm like, even if this thing could, I can't sense it in the same way that you could.
He walks over to you, Ventus, and says, "You have a choice to make, and it'll be made here today."
Okay, what am
He puts his hand on your arm and he says, "Whatever choice you make affects both of us." And when he says that, he slams the tip of his sword down into the rune circle that the two of you were standing in, that you did not notice.
what the
And the two of you disappear from the room.
me and
Caius.
Caius?
Mm-hmm.
And that was Asher that did that.
No, that was Caius.
Caius that did that?
Caius.
Okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood, but yeah.
Turok.
So he did know more than he was letting on.
In a sense. Turok, you and Andarin are fairly close together. And he looks at you and says, "Ah, shit." And when he says it, these shadowed hands grab both of you and yank both of you over the edge.
Are these the same ones that attacked him way back then?
You don't know.
Wouldn't you like to know?
He said, "Oh shit."
Alright.
Zane.
I'm getting Gandalf vibes here, bro.
You see Asher start to get into a defensive position. He's got his shield fully opened up, his sword above his head, blade laid across the top of it, and you can see the slot that he had made in his shield to be able to see through. And he tells you to get behind him.
And I just very calmly walk over kind of next to him, and I'm like, for some reason I feel like struggling is going to be pointless.
And he tells you, "I have the same feeling." And when he says that, the floor beneath you guys lights up blue. And all you hear out of Asher's, "Fuck." And the two of you disappear from that room. Lons, as you're looking around the room, you hear a chuckle.
I don't want to hear that, for what it's worth.
I don't want to hear this.
From the other side, you see a figure start walking across where everybody was looking over the edge. And now the floor is filling in, becoming solid. As the figure approaches closer to you, he stops and says, "Well, at least they left me one. I believe some introductions are in order. And I'm really looking forward to playing with my new toy." It says, "I am the Autumn Server. Bronius, at your service." and he gives you this creepy bow.
Very elegant, though. Very elegant.
Elegant, but creepy.
The Autumn Cerberus, you said?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
Bronius.
Bronius.
Interesting.
The name should ring a bell.
Yeah, it's one of the names
True,
in that
too.
book.
All of you, if you had all been in the room, all of you would have recognized the name, but you would recognize it because it's one of the names that was read out from that book. It's one of the guardians.
Mother of God.
Guard. Ha ha.
I am very awkwardly just gonna introduce myself with a sup.
Sup. It's quite the interesting name.
That's about all you're gonna get out of me right now, pal. I don't know what the hell you want.
Oh, I want to play. I hope you brought a weapon.
I am only casually going to touch my fingers across the neck of my battle axe on my back, but I'm not gonna wield it just yet.
That's good. Good. I'll let you pick mine. And he holds out in front of him double-headed axe in one hand and nothing in the other. But you do see a rune in the palm of his hand.
Do I know what kind of rune it is?
Roll to see if you recognize it. It's going to be a perception roll.
Perception.
That'd be an Arcana check, but yeah, sure.
Got a 24, dog.
Ah. So, after you've looked over it a little bit longer, you realize that this rune, if he was to fight with his rune abilities, he would have the advantage because this would allow him to bring anything he wants into it.
So it's a
And
materialization room. Yay!
While he sees you looking it over, he goes, "Choices wisely."
I've been wielding this thing as long as I can remember. Let's see how you do with a battle axe.
Fair enough. So, magic is off the table. Just brute strength.
That's all I need.
He puts his hand out as if to shake your hand. Says, "Let's seal the deal."
I just spit in my hand and go to shake his.
He accepts the spit in your hand and says, "Unnecessary. But the deal is sealed. Let's do this." And he lets go of your hand, takes a few steps back, and he says,
You smell nice.
I will let the guest go first. So you won't have to roll the first initiative. You get the first move.
The first thing I do is take the axe off my back and I just tap it twice on the ground.
Okay.
It says, a little gift from a friend of mine. And I just take a really, really big wind up overhead swing.
Roll your attack.
Let's see that. For confuse. I have two. And I can't. It doesn't tell me which one's which. I have 1d8 plus 4, 1d10 plus 4. Is one thrown or something?
Single-handed is the 8. Two-handed is the D10.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's definitely definitely double-handed because it's over my head.
Yeah, you said you went for the wind-up, so it's definitely going to
Yeah.
be the versatile D10.
All right. Am I swinging for damage or swinging for attack?
Attack.
Okay. 13.
Is gonna miss.
Knew
And I
it.
believe you have a second attack, right?
Yeah. Does he? Do I just miss by?
Oh, it's a
Like,
whiff.
but I
You
mean, is it
swing your
because he
axe with everything
dodges,
you
or-
have, and you miss him by. You couldn't hit the
Like I s-
broadside of a barn.
Like,
Kinda
but I'm
missed.
saying when I swing, is he now like to the side of my blade or
No,
wherever
he's simply leaned back from it.
Okay, so he just juked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so. All right, like a half step back.
Okay, so then I just take it again, and I just do like a spin around move and try to catch him horizontally,
Okay.
double handed again, but this time we hit a 19
That's a hit.
with 6 for damage.
All right. With that one, you hit him on that slash, and when it catches him, he's like, "Oh, my turn." And he grabs his axe with both hands, swings, and 16.
Immediately hit Stone Endurance. As soon as I see him about to hit me, cast Stone Endurance on myself.
Okay. Does 16 hit?
I'm trying to.
Hold on, let me pull it.
Armor class is 16.
Okay, so this is going to be half the damage. It's a glancing blow.
I don't remember what Stone Endurance actually is. It's been a while. Looking everywhere. Blah, blah, blah.
Check under your spells real quick.
Why can I not find it? I know I have it.
Yeah, you do have it.
It's either going to be under your spells or under your skills.
Yeah.
Or actions, I mean.
Might be
There
under
it is.
actions.
Very freaking bottom. All right. Damage dealt is reduced by 1d12 plus 1.
Okay. Well, the total is a whopping 5. So roll a d12 and add 1 might actually completely negate the damage.
The roll is actually 1.
So you negate 2 points?
No.
It's a
it
d12
only-
plus 1?
Yeah, you're right. I thought it automatically
Okay.
calculated, but
So
yeah,
you
you're right.
So you take
So it's
3
3
points
damage.
instead of 5.
Correct.
Excuse me. All
I
right,
just kinda
now
tense up.
you both roll for initiative.
Yes. All right, so I'm sitting on a 19.
Oh, yeah, you'll go first.
All right, so obviously we agreed as gentlemen that it's just going to be melee only. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Um. This time I'm just going to swing with a single hand, just like a really swift, like diagonal upward swing.
Okay.
Let's see, swing the hit.
Main hand or offhand?
I mean, my main hand, the one that I'm holding it with.
All right.
So that's a 12.
That's a miss. All right, you still have another action.
Swing right back down with the same hand. This time we're at a 25.
Oh, that's a hit.
And it's a single hand with the damage. So that's 6.
All right. Oh, quite good with the axe. Kind of tiptoes a little bit, rotating the axe in his hand. Says, catch. And he takes his axe and throws it right at you. 19.
Damn, dog.
4. This one's only going to be D8s. 6. And then with his free action, he's going to call it back to when the axe reaches back to him, he kind of puts his arms out in a flaunting gesture and says, well, I'm not boring you, am I?
No, we're just getting started.
Good. Roll initiatives. Got 17.
13. Yeah, 13.
Okay, so he's going to go first. Grabs his axe with both hands and swings. Well, 5's definitely going to miss. And he decides he's going to go ahead and use his second attack since he missed so badly. And he's going to activate an ability on his melee weapon. He's going to use the Thunder Strike.
Okay. Do you have to roll to hit on that?
I don't have to hit you with the axe, yes. For the radius damage, no. But he misses. He misses with the axe anyway.
Lovely.
So this is everything in a 10-foot radius. It only does 1d6 damage. 2. And now it's your turn.
All right. You know what? I just realized that I was supposed to be doing extra damage from the tapping of the handle. I don't have my notebook. I don't remember how much damage that is. That's either times 2 or times 5.
I believe it's times 5 from the double tap.
Okay. Well,
But add it in from here on.
yeah, we'll do. So I immediately go into rage. After what feels like him mocking me so damn much. So with that, I'm just gonna do one giant double-handed overhead swing.
All right.
So we're gonna do that. All right, so 25 to the hit.
Oh yeah, that definitely hits.
All right, and so we're gonna do 8 times 5 plus 2. So 42 damage. And bonus action, I'm just gonna just yank it out of him and just like do one more swing horizontally.
All right.
Still double handed. The hit is going to be 23,
That's a hit.
and damage is going to be 42 again. Just fuck that guy.
After the second hit, you see part of his arm kind of slump a little bit, and then he steps back away from you as his first action, and uses his free action. He goes, "Oh, you're mad."
Don't call
Hey.
it rage for no reason, pal.
He lifts his arm up, and you hear the audible pop as his shoulder goes back into place, and he grabs the handle of his axe again. Says, "Well, I guess I should make this one count." He rears back with both hands and lets it loose at you as he activates the thunder one more time.
Insults him in some really demeaning manner.
17 for the hit.
I'm trying to remember what that's even called.
Vicious
What's the
mockery.
opposite?
Vicious mockery.
Yeah, it's not what it's called for me.
It should be.
I thought it
It-
was.
If it's an insult,
can't
it's
find
vicious
it.
mockery. Oh no, he's got another one.
It's a very bard-centric one.
Yeah, he's got vicious mockery and
They're like
the other
silvery
one?
barbs. No.
Like I just saw cutting words.
cutting words.
Yeah.
What's the save
So
on
whenever
that?
you make an rejectable value spell. It just says roll the die and subtract the number from your roll, but it doesn't say what kind. That's interesting.
Subtract what number from your roll?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't say. When a creature, blah, 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 makes an attack roll, use your reaction to expand one of your bardic inspiration, rolling a... Oh, okay, so I guess it's the same die as bardic inspiration, which is a D8.
Okay.
So I use one D8. Subtract one from that roll, big dog.
Making it a 16.
Hell yeah. Which is my
So
armor
now it's a
class.
glancing blow.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Excuse me.
Roll me a perception real quick.
Perception. Nope. Nice. 21.
You hear him say 8th level.
Did he just say 8th level, or was there something before that?
Said fuck it. 8th level.
Ouch. I don't know. I want to know what that means.
That means the damage is now an 8th level damage.
Like 8th level of hell.
Like 8th level spell slot?
Yep.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Only
That's like,
little angry.
that's like almost maxed.
What's 6 times 8?
48.
46. 48, I mean.
What's this dude, level 20?
So you're gonna take. I think it's 42. 48. You're gonna take 48 points of damage. And you're gonna see his body slump to the floor. As he also takes 48 points of damage.
cinematic as hell.
As you observe the room, you can still see the lightning crackling along the walls and over his body. And you realize that he figured, if I'm going to die, I'm going to go out in a blast.
I'm going to say something really cool, like I eat lightning for breakfast.
Well, you see he's still kind of breathing, but you can tell he's not going to last long. So if you
Hey, I
do
see
want
you're
to
still
say
kind
anything
of
to him,
breathing.
you hear kind of a gurgle chuckle. He says, "Come here."
Damn.
I'm gonna tell you a secret.
I
Do
don't
you
know
walk
if
to him?
I don't know that I should.
Cleveland, is that?
This man's already hurting himself. If I get close, he might actually do something like self-destruct.
Well, his axe is nowhere near him. He's laying there breathing his own blood right now.
Good God.
And he's not a Pokemon.
He's not a Baylor either, luckily.
Yeah. And you hear him repeat himself. He says, "I'm here,"
No, come here.
as he spits blood off to the side.
Come here.
So I'm just gonna walk up to him. I'm gonna use my axe to like lift up his chin. Say what you gotta say.
Well fought. I hope you succeed, so I can finally rest. And his head drops back as he takes his last breath. As he takes his last breath, you see an archway raise up from the floor off to your left. And through it, you can see a room. And you see Asher and Zane standing in it. But it's off in the distance. You can see a spot where you can stand if you were to walk through.
Do I need to decide if I'm going through this archway?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm totally gonna do that, but I'm gonna like skip through it with the axe over my shoulder and like, hey guys, what y'all doing?
All right. As you skip through and you go to talk, Zane, give me a perception real quick. Let's see if you notice him prancing through like he's proud of himself.
Fucking god tier fighter over here.
I want to go through like this really badass like boss level fucking fight, and then it just turned into like all part two. Like, hey guys,
That's it.
like completely non-serious. Like immediately after.
I fucking love
That'd
this
be a
character.
17.
17. All right. You see him kind of skip through all proud with this proud look on his face, and you see his mouth move, but you don't hear anything.
Oh, probably for the best.
And I'm like, this place is weird.
Asher kind of turns and looks around. Like, is he talking to us?
I think so.
You see
No.
Asher kind of waving at you, Lons, and then you see him point at his ears, and then you see him put his hands up in the air like, I can't hear you.
And I'm like, wait. No, we can't hear him. Oh, small saving graces, guys. You can't hear me, but you fucking see me.
Can you
Asher,
read sign language?
you do see Asher kind of drop his hands down to his side like,
Really?
at this point, Lons, you realize that you can kind of see a gleam pass across in front of you. And it looks like there's something that is separating the sound from where they're at from the sound where you are.
Am I able to physically touch this?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna reach out with my bare hand and see how far I can push on it. See what it
As
does.
soon as you touch it, your whole arm goes numb.
As it shoves you back 15 feet. No, I'm kidding.
No shove. Your whole arm goes numb.
Don't get a weird idea to put your dick there next.
Asher raises both of his hands and waves them both at you.
Am I able to hear them though?
No, you can't hear them. They can't hear
Okay.
you. But you see
Damn.
Asher raise his hands and he waves at you like he's trying to get your attention again.
I even try to use the radio for a second. I'm like, anybody on this channel?
Nothing coming through.
Oh, Mick, fuck. Well, okay. So, obviously, whatever this is... Huh. Asher, why the hell are we here?
I don't know. Now we're going to hop over to Turok. Lons, I know you're kind of on a time frame. If you need to go, you can. Necessarily have to stay on for this one. I will fill you in tomorrow if you do decide to leave on what all happens. Turok, you and Darren are standing in a completely squared off room. There seems to be no exit anywhere. The shadowed hands that pulled the two of you off the ledge and into this room are now together, forming a shadowed figure.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. From the shadowed figure, you hear a voice that says, "What makes you rich?" And Darn kind of tilts his head and goes, "Money. Duh."
I was gonna say family, but that's also a good one.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes.
And the shadow kind of pivots in your direction and says, "Family is correct. Family is what makes you rich. What happens when you lose family?"
Really depends on the person you're asking.
Do you lose a piece of yourself? Or do you simply lose a family member?
Say a piece of myself.
I am known as the Riches Warden. They
Wait,
call me
I've
Alistair.
heard that name before.
Today,
Where did I hear?
from the book.
Yeah, I know, but this is Turok thinking to himself, like,
Yeah.
I know I've heard that name. Where did I hear it?
Today, you will decide which of your riches carries on and which of your riches does not. Only one of you will be able to leave this room. And the shadow fades off. And Darren turns and looks at you and goes, "What does he mean by that?"
Either something is gonna kill one of us, or we're both have to fight each other, and the one who survives gets to go on. I mean, it's pretty vague.
Yeah, I'd say. And Darn kind of starts
Uh,
looking around the room. See him kind of running his hands along the wall.
I'm gonna go ahead and put my fingers in my neck and be like, guys, I just talked to the Riches Warden, Alistair. The hell am I supposed to do?
All you hear is static. And then Darn turns to you and says, "That didn't come through my comm. All I'm hearing is
That's not
static."
good. That's not good. Sure, the one time I used this damn thing, it doesn't fucking work. Thanks, Zane.
He walks to the middle of the room and says, "Alistair." You hear a response. Yes. Do we have to fight to determine? Or can we simply choose? And the response you hear is, it would be more entertaining if you... But you can simply choose. Only one of you will leave this room.
Either way, sounds like we need a drink.
I agree.
And I'd
Hey,
say have a
Alistair, you want to
lunch.
drink with us? You hear Andarin say
know-
this.
Uh, is there any way he can conjure up a bench and a table? You picking up where I'm going with this?
After a few moments of silence, a table comes up in the middle of the room, as well as 3 seats. In the third
It's all on
seat,
wrestling.
a solidified body appears. And what you see is an elf-like man sitting in the chair. He's wearing simple brown robe. No jewelry, no crown, nothing fancy on him. Simply brown robes and sandals. He says, "Yes, I will gladly have a drink before you make your choice."
Alright. You take first sip, I guess. And I'd hand him the jug.
He picks it up and says, Takes a sniff. "It's been a few millennia since I've had this. Your tribe are the ones who perfected it.
Yes.
It is an unfortunate honor, and I mean that with no disrespect. It is an unfortunate honor to be able to have this with you." He tilts it back and takes a sip and hands it back to you.
What the fuck, bro?
And I'll do the same, and then hand it off to Indarn.
And Darn takes it and kind of stares at it for a minute. And he looks at him and says, "You already know the choice we've made, don't you?" And the elf says, "Yes. As I said, fighting would be more entertaining. But this isn't about my entertainment." And then he turns and looks at you, Turok. He says, "I know you think you might be able to get drunk on this, possibly fight and kill me, which you probably could kill me, but it won't change the fact that only one of you..."
Can get that part.
And Darn looks at the wine again, tilts it back, and chugs it.
I didn't get that last part, by the way. You cut out.
Where did it cut out at? What was the last thing you heard?
Maybe about 15 seconds ago, because there was a long silence and it looked like you were talking, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, he said he turned. You heard me say he turns to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. After that, he said, "I know you may think that you can get me drunk and you'd be able to kill me, which you probably could, but it will not change the fact that only one of you will be able to leave this room." After that, Andarin takes a deep breath, tilts the jug back, and chugs it all down to the final drop. He sets the empty bottle down and says, "Well, it's going to be you, brother. I've had my time. I've done my duty. I've brought honor to our people, honor to our clan. But it's your job to carry us on."
Trust me, I will do that.
He turns to Alistair and says, "Can I have him give me a knight's death?" Alistair kind of gives him a odd, like, one eyebrow up, one eyebrow down side. Says, "You're from an order of paladins. Why knight's death?" And Darn smiles and says, "I always wanted to know what it would be like to take the easy way out." No dishonor to me. And Alistair gives him a nod and says, "Yes, you may go as you please." And Darn walks over to you, grabs you by your armor, and stands you on the seat. And he hands you his sword. Says, "Make it clean and make it fast." He kneels down with his back to you. Says, "You know where to place it, right?"
Yep.
"Promise me you're not going to
Go.
back out."
I promise. But before I do, I kneel down, hand on his shoulder, and be like, "Trust me, you will be remembered and missed, my brother. You have no worries.
God.
We're gonna make sure everybody else gets out of here alive."
Good. Make sure you fudge my death a little. Make it sound like I went out with a bang.
Oh yeah, definitely. Went good at the whole 12 rounds with Alistair. Got it.
Yep. Oh, but tell Brita the truth. She'll come back and res me and then kill me herself if you lie to her.
Oh shit, you're right. And she probably would come out of retirement for that.
She would.
Oh god. Okay. Yep.
He takes one more deep breath and he says, "I'm ready. Let's do this."
I'm not. Now go ahead and do it.
As you push the sword down and through, you hear him exhale. And at the end of the exhale, you hear him chuckle. His body turns into a mist and leaves the room. Alistair walks over to you and says, "It's a brave thing to do to make the hard choice. But if it puts your mind at ease, that wasn't your brother."
Man, fuck him. Sorry.
And to put your mind at even
You
more
have to
ease,
elaborate.
to put your mind at even more ease, your actual brother made the same choice in another room. What you saw was the choice that he made there. What you did was follow through on his wishes and your own choice. Family truly is riches. Your brother will be returned. You will leave this room. And he points off to the side, off to his right, and you see an archway come up from the floor. He says, "You are free to leave. I will send your brother back to the ship. I truly hope that you succeed so that I can finally rest."
Thank you.
What is going on with Ryan?
Fucking
Hollow, come on, bruh.
stressing me out, bro.
You
And I'm not even there, but I'm there, bro. Like, I'm fucking there. I'm there. I'm there, but I'm not there, but I'm there, and it's fucking killing me. Okay. Anyways.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you make your way through the arch?
Yes.
Okay. As you step out the archway, you see that Lawns is kind of off a few hundred feet away from you, standing on another area. And you see something between you and him. Appears to be another room, and inside that room, you see Zane and Asher.
I reach behind me, grab my jug of wine, and does this still have some left since it wasn't really in Darn?
Nope,
Or is it all gone?
it's gone.
Son of a bitch, drank all my fucking wine. Oh,
Be grateful
God
you didn't
damn
kill
it.
your brother.
Oh, what is today? I was not prepared for this shit.
Told you the last
Okay.
few episodes were going to be stressful.
Okay. Turok, calm down. Calm down. Alright, let's see what's going on with the fucking dumbasses over there. Start making my way there.
Well, as you go to start attempting to make a way over there, you realize that where you're standing, there's no way around it.
Oh.
When you turn around, there's a wall behind you. And you're on a platform that has a drop into nothingness in front of you. But you can see what is between you and the room that there's in. A slight gleam on it from the lighting.
Hey!
All right. Zane, give me a perception roll. Let me know if you see this.
Well, that was very, very close to being a very poor roll. 21 total.
Okay. You see Turok kind of slam his hands out in front of his mouth, and it looks like he's yelling. Like everything he's got in him, he's yelling. But you don't hear anything.
And again, the gods have granted my prayers.
Asher is now looking around and thoroughly confused about what is going on. He's like, I just, why can't we hear them? Why can't they hear us?
I mean, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm not. I just,
Fair enough.
but I'm really just beside myself about this freaking place. This isn't anything like what I thought it was going to be.
Asher starts pacing the room and he puts his hand down and he immediately picks it back up and he's, what is this?
What are we talking about?
And he points at what he had just put his hand on. And it looks like the spot that your artifact was.
Oh. Okay. I'm guessing that. Oh no, this can't be this place. Why would they bring us here? Why would they bring? I mean, I get it. I've got the thing that does the thing. But why would it bring us here?
You're saying all this out loud?
Yeah.
Okay, Astera hears you and he backs away from you a little bit and goes, "What are you rambling?"
And I'm like, I told you this was the city, and I told you that this was the place that controlled everything. And I'm like, but this isn't what I expected.
So what is this?
The only thing I can imagine is that the tower reacted to the fact that I was holding the artifact, and it brought us here because this is where it's supposed to be used.
Are you telling me that thing is a key?
It's definitely something. It's more. It's like a control rod.
Okay. So put it in the key slot. Let's see what it does.
I don't know that it's time yet, though.
He backs away and then immediately jumps. Like something just scared the shit out of him. What the hell is that? When you look behind where he was, you see what looks like a corpse, but it's not a corpse. Laying on a table. It's a solid metal body with human-like features and what appears to be the head. Do you want to inspect it?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Okay. When you start looking it over, it looks an awful lot like time.
And I'm like, well, this is fan-fucking-tastic.
Now.
Everything that I've been looking for, and it's been right here.
I'm going to stop here. I'm going to give you guys the option. Ventus, we can jump to your section, or we can wait till next Wednesday.
Dude, I think we should just do mine. That way next Wednesday
All right. So we're going to go to you. You and Caius are standing in a room right now.
Okay.
Caius is looking around. You see him grab his sword. He pulls it out, but he's not facing you. He says, "Do you feel that?"
Yeah, I feel something, but I think you owe me an explanation.
I owe you an explanation.
Yeah.
What do I need to explain to you?
Like, what was that earlier? Why did you grab me? What is going on? You know more than you're telling me, so spit it out. I told you, I want you to be honest with me.
All I know is that you're the one who has to make a decision.
Where did you hear this?
Uprahora.
Uprahora told you this?
Yes, he wouldn't tell me anything else. He simply said that when the time comes, a decision will have to be made.
Well, I appreciate you being honest.
One of us has to make that decision. He wouldn't tell me what the decision was. He didn't tell me why we had to be the one. But I told him I wouldn't make a decision because I don't want to make a decision. I'd rather the one who knew nothing of where it came from make the choice himself. But not knowing what choice you would have to make is what's been driving me insane.
Driving you insane? That's all I've heard about for the last 6 hours. is choice this, choice that. I get it. First off, I want to say thank you for being honest with me. You have to understand, I need to trust somebody right now, and you're the only person I have right now. So, let's just figure this out together. Please.
He starts pacing around the room, and he says, what do you know so? What have you learned?
You know just as much as I do right now. All I know is that something big is going to happen. I feel it down in my gut. I don't understand what it is. All I know is I feel drawn to this place. And I can't explain it. I can't explain why.
I know you know about the crown.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to put it on, because if you put it on, something weird's going to happen.
Yeah, so I've avoided that.
I've done everything I can to make sure that that crown isn't in you. Your friend, the Dragon Tor, has it. His kind is able to wear it. But if he puts it on, something happens. And we don't know what that's going to be. But if we're having to make a choice on something, I heard in a conversation that you had one night, years ago, that only one of us would be the dominant in the decision made. To me, that sounds like only one of our personalities showed through, because I kept hearing references to becoming one again.
But who would...
As I'm sure you have as well.
Why do we have to do that? Wouldn't that change everything?
Or would it fix what was already changed?
I don't know. Will I forget
Apparently
my family?
not. No, I don't think you would forget your family.
What about my friends? Like,
I don't think that would be the case either. But I wouldn't know, because I truly don't have friends. I have deliberately been who I am, so that I wouldn't have to have that fear.
Well, at least you had the luxury of knowing something like this was going to happen.
Luxury? You call that a luxury?
Yeah.
Knowing that you can never have friends, never have family, because there's a possibility you may never remember them. You may never see them again. That's a luxury. Do you have any idea how lonely this world has been?
No, but
I would rather have been in your shoes with a father that spoiled me.
But
a father that made sure I was trained.
I can't imagine losing them. I can't imagine losing everything.
But can you imagine never having any? What kind of value does that bring to him?
Look, I understand where you're coming from. This isn't getting us anywhere. Let's just look around, please. We need to figure this out. Do I see anything around? Do I need to roll a perception?
In the corner of the room, you notice that there's been a figure standing there listening to.
I look at Caius and I say, "Did you notice him?"
Notice who? And as he turns around, he sees the figure in the corner. You both hear Discovery Guard. Pheromone.
Okay.
What is it you wish to discover?
I want to discover what this place is, what relevance it has to everything that's going on in the world. If you even, I don't know what you know.
Do you not recognize your own handiwork?
No. What are you talking about?
This was once the center of it all.
The center of what?
Astera. Your home. Your kingdom. Your people.
But this place has been sunken since the beginning of time, it feels like.
By your hand.
My hand.
Well.
I'm not 1,000
Oh,
years old or
your
however
hand.
long ago it happened. I'm 21.
No, you're not. Physically, yes. But not 21. You see, you destroyed this place because you wanted to be free of it. In a sense, you succeeded. But in a sense, you failed. No one could see what would happen with your soul, because the Eden Guard are not supposed to have souls. Your soul took its sweet time, clearly, because this has been thousands of years before it finally found a body suitable to walk amongst the people of this world, the world you were ever so curious about being. The unexpected was it deciding to take two forms instead of one.
So what does that have to do with this? Why I'm so lost?
You must repair it. But if you don't repair it, bring the two halves to one again, you doom all of this realm.
Wait, why?
We Eden Guard were designed by you to keep everything from the outside from ever getting down here. But in a fit, you decided you didn't want the responsibility anymore.
So
And in that fit, you fought several of your own creation.
So I just
They were meant to guard. I wouldn't say gave up. More like threw a temper tantrum.
That doesn't sound like me at all.
It was odd. None of us could figure out why you would. But when you shattered it, we could sense the relief. There's just something in it was torturing.
In what?
In the crystal. That kept all of this up there. You destroyed the source of power. A power that you solely are responsible to protect. But something in it was driving you mad. Which I don't have a direct answer for, but I do believe that madness was him. As he points at Caius.
But I thought we were two halves of the same person.
You are. He is simply the madness that was within you.
So I look at Caius and say, do you know anything this guy is talking about?
Caius is standing there completely dumbstruck. And the look on his face that you see is a face of realization that he was never supposed to be. He was a part of you that you were trying to remove from, but had to go about doing it in a way that destroyed everything. He has realized that had he simply figured out a way as a conscience to ease your mind, could have prevented all of this. And you can see the anger building up in him as he grips his sword and turns to you. Says, only one of us. Make your choice.
Why do we have to choose? What is gonna happen if we don't join?
You're asking the warden?
Yeah, I'm looking at Caius, but I'm asking it like indirectly to the warden.
Indirectly? Okay. The warden responds to you by saying, either you absorb him or he absorbs. This was bound to happen no matter what.
Can you answer me this? Who orchestrated this?
This wasn't orchestrated.
Then how did we end up here? Together. At the same time. Why were there people waiting for us? Something doesn't fit. Something does not make sense. There's no way that this is just a coincidence.
I believe you've met Aemon, Master of Time.
Yeah, once. That I know of.
And I know you've probably heard the stories from Ibrahora, how Aemon would not let anyone interfere with the timeline. What is meant to be will happen. We cannot speed it up, slow it down, or change it. This has been what has always been meant to happen. No orchestration on our part, nor yours. Simply laid out in the timeline.
I don't feel good about that.
We're not really meant to feel good about anything. And I know hearing this from me probably isn't all that reassuring. I'm nothing more than a guardian. I guard the knowledge. I do as I'm told. And once upon a time, I took those orders from you. Once you were gone, I took my orders from Aemon. And now I am simply doing my duty by continuing to guard that knowledge and making sure that the timeline is not interrupted.
Where is Aemon?
Still up there, waiting for you to do what you're supposed to do. Which side of you does what needs to be done is yet to be determined. Quite literally, only time will tell. Should you absorb him, we'll get one result. Should he absorb you, we get another. Should you not absorb at all, it would be the end of everything. As to how this would affect me, it does not. I will either continue on, or I will not. That is simply how it is.
Does Caius still have his sword drawn on me?
He does. And you can see the rage has reached its absolute full peak.
Like
You can
fever
see it in
pitch?
his eyes. Yep. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his face. But he hasn't moved.
I look at him and say, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?"
Says we will see who comes out on top. But I'm leaving it to you to make the first move. This is what I meant by you have to make a choice. Either you attack me, or I attack you. And I promise you, whoever attacks first is going to be the one that comes out on top.
I unclip my cloak and draw both of my swords And I look at him and say, I was actually starting to like you, and I wish things could be different.
And he says, I've always hated myself, so I'll hate me for you. And he lunges at you.
All right. Roll initiative, I guess.
Yep. Shit. 12.
17 plus 1, I think. Let me check. I mean, I still beat him, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's plus 1. I don't remember if it went up. I think it's... Yeah, plus 1. So 18.
Alright, you're up first.
So he is lunging at me, right? So he's
Yep.
midair. All right, I cross my swords and then I swing outwards with both of them and try to hit him out of the air.
Okay. Roll your attack.
All right. First attack is a 17. Let me get the modifier. It's under actions, right? 17 plus 7, so 24.
That'll hit.
And next one is a nat 20. So
Ooh.
that'll hit.
Oh, yeah. It's also going to put you on a frenzy
Oh shit.
for 5 rounds.
Oh fuck. So what is the frenzy do? Refresh my memory.
You're going to roll just damage for every attack for 5 rounds.
Okay, and that's 2 sets of attack for 5 rounds.
That's 10 sets of damage.
So do you want me to roll it all at once, or he's gonna get to attack in between?
No, he doesn't get to attack in between.
Oh dang. Alright. Let me get my
I was
modifier.
curious if I was going to get a nat 20 in any of these. I am not disappointed that it happened here.
Alright, let's see. Is it... Oh my gosh. Ready? Sorry, I'm just double checking my damage stuff.
You're good.
Alright, so that's 1d8 for attack. Alright, that is... Oh, that is a d10. Alright. Alright, plus 2d6. Alright, so, alright, that is 6. Oh, wait a minute. Why'd I roll 3d6? That's stupid. So 16 is the first one.
Okay.
All right. 18 for the second one.
Okay.
All right, and that's the first set of attacks. So I swung them out, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start comboing him in the air. That's what I'm gonna do. Like I'm not gonna let, because I caught him in the air and I'm not gonna let him land. So I'm like doing a lot of upswings, right?
Okay.
Damn, I'm rolling good. 16.
Okay. Remember, you're just rolling damage.
12.
Okay.
All right, that's the second set. 17.
Okay.
8.
Okay.
Third set. 16.
Okay.
Yeah. 19.
Okay.
That's the fourth set. And 12.
All right.
7.
Okay. You won't need to keep rolling. Ungodly amount of damage.
How much was it? Just so I know. Like,
You've already done over.
God, bro.
Like the last two I didn't even add in.
Jesus.
I didn't need to. He hits the ground in the slide. Sword still in his hand. Rolls over and looks at you. And you see the anger just kind of wash out of him. And he's like, finally some relief. No more anger. He opens his eyes and he looks at you and says, this is what happened.
What? Repeat that? You cut out.
Says this is what needed to happen.
I really hate that it had to come to this.
I don't. If it had been me that had won, I would ruin this world and ours more than they already are, and you know it. I am the living embodiment of the anger that was stuck in you. The voice that was made to torture you. You know this was the only outcome that would have been acceptable.
Well, if it means anything to you, I know we're gonna be one. But I want you to know that I'm not gonna forget you.
He says, don't worry. I'm still gonna whisper in your head. As he chuckles and takes his last breath. And his body forms into a ball of light. And the light goes into you. And you are flooded with all the memories of who you once were. You remember everything. You know who you were. You know who all the Eden are. You know what you made. You know what you did. You know why you did it. And you no longer feel the rage that made you split the shard. That caused Astera to fall.
The eternal.
And you now
beacon.
realize the eternal beacon. Now you realize that the light that you just absorbed is the power that you need to put back into the beacon.
I'm like,
And that will it will restore Astera to a point. You know that there are several other things that must be done in order for Astera to fully rise again.
I take all that in, let it sit for just a second, and then I kind of push a lot of it to the back of my mind, and I try to remember Caius.
You hear that very familiar chuckle in the back of your head. And he says, told you.
And I just kind of smile, and I don't say anything. And I walk over to where he fell, and I would like to pick up his sword and take it with me.
Okay, as you go to reach for the sword, Pheromon reaches down and picks it up. And he says, this this stays. You have a ways to go before you can
Before I can what?
wield this.
All right, I look at him, knowing full well who he is, say,
Mm-hmm.
all right, do me a favor, Pharaon, and hang on to that for me. I'll be back to get it.
He says, I know you will.
And then I pound him in the chest and walk away. Hey, go find everybody else.
As you go to walk away, you see the arch from the ground, and you can see through the arch. You can see a platform that you're able to walk out on.
I don't even stop
can
walking when it appears. I just keep walking through
And
it.
just keep walking. All right. So you walk out onto the platform, and when you get to the platform, you realize that there's no further that you can go. You see something is between you, and you can see Turok off to your left, you see Lons off to your right. They're both by themselves. And ahead of you, you can see kind of this barrier that's you can reach out and easily touch. You can see that there's something clear between you, and off in the distance in another room, you see Zane and Asher. And they appear to be bickering, in a sense. In your platform arises a small, I don't want to call it a small mantle raises in front of you. And there's two halves of something in front of you. Do you want to pick it up?
Both halves are in front of me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to grab both of them.
You realize that this is what you need to put that power back in.
And I hold them up. Does, just out of curiosity, does anybody see me do this?
Turok, Zane, give me a roll. I'll roll for Asher.
Oh, by the way, there is a change in my appearance.
Oh, yeah.
The black that I had in my hair, the black streaks, are now fully white. My hair is completely white.
But besides that, like physical appearance, still the same. Like we can tell that it's you.
Both of my eyes are blue.
Yep. He's in his full form.
Both of my eyes are blue. And
you won't be able to notice that from a distance. You'll definitely notice the hair from it.
Right.
Yeah, but just so
but
you have
it's enough to realize it's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you roll, Turok?
Okay. I rolled a 23.
Zane? 9. Good thing Asher rolled well. Asher reaches out and grabs you by the arm, Zane, and says, "Look at that," and points up. Turok, you see this out of the corner of your eye. You see that Ventus has just walked out like nothing's wrong. Walked out on a platform off to your right and reached in front of himself and picked up two halves of an orb. You see that his hair is solid white, no longer that half white, half black. You also realize that he's by himself. Zane, now that Asher has gotten your attention and pointed it out, do you look in the direction that he's pointing? I can't hear you.
Saying, yeah, I do.
All right. You see the same thing. You see him with his hair solid white now. You can, because of the years that you've known him, he's got kind of a different stature himself. And you realize that Caius is not with him. And you know that he made a decision. Asher looks at you and says, "Where's Kaya?"
Do I hear him?
No.
Oh,
He looks at Zane.
got you.
And I'm just looking at him and I say, if he's where I think he is, he's there.
He kind of gives you a confused look. What do you mean he's there? He's not there. It's just Ventus, and Ventus's hair is white. Where'd the black in his hair go?
No, Ventus is there too.
Two?
Am I stuttering?
You're not making any sense. That's Ventus.
And I'm like, and it's Caius.
How is that? And he catches himself. And he says, Did he make the decision?
And I just go, huh?
Pineapple apple pen.
Shut up. I was just thinking that.
Pin pineapple, apple pin.
That's funny, dude.
So there's only one more thing left to do then.
Not yet.
I am holding them two halves, and I hold them up in front of me, and I close my eyes for a sec, and all of a sudden you see my hair start blowing back like there's a force of wind pushing back at me, and I start glowing, and it's like I'm using this newfound power, and I leave. It's like I leave. Like I basically start the engine to Astera.
Yeah.
I start it up,
So
and it cranks basically.
So everybody sees him basically meld these two halves back together, and you can see him physically putting power into it.
Mm.
And you feel the tower starting to shake. Everything's starting to light up and get loud. And this is where we're going to stop. And we'll come back next week for the season finale.
The season finale next
The
Wednesday.
season finale. Make sure you wear your big boy pants or your big girl pants. Wear a diaper because someone's going to shit themselves. I promise.
Oh god, man! Hey, I
I
just wanted
didn't, and I regret it.
Bro, this episode was intense. I can't even imagine what you got going in next. I felt like everything was resolved, but maybe not.
Let's just say you might want to wear your
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Everybody, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It is always a pleasure to be able to stream for you guys. I stream every Wednesday night, and I'm going to try to start doing it a little bit more often once things kind of calm down. But for now, just know you can expect the season finale, season 2 finale of Journey to Astera next Wednesday. So make sure you tune in. We'll be going live, 8 o'clock?
Yep, 8 o'clock. And it'll be about, at minimum, it's going to be a 2-hour episode. Since the only scenario that we have to get through is the one for Zane, that will take roughly 35 minutes to an hour, and then there's the remainder of the episode afterward. But at minimum, we'll have a 2-hour episode for the finale.
So what do you think? Do you think they could expect season 3 or what?
I do have plans for a season 3, yes. Season 2 is going to leave everybody wanting for season 3. I guarantee you that.
Okay, well, make sure you tune in so you get to catch all that. It's a bit of a teaser there, but just know that we love you and we very much appreciate all the support you guys have given us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.